Oh, new year, new Snarf.
All new, all Snarf, all year.
2024.
Can you believe it?
I really can't. It's weird.
Shoot.
Like sitting in this again.
Yeah.
I don't know.
is.
It's
Are we live on Facebook? Let's check that out before we do anything.
we are on YouTube.
Anybody out there in Facebook land, if you can see our videos, let us know.
Yeah, we are. We're live. I see it right now.
Sweet.
So we're good to go.
We did
it. Like first try. Normally we have to like redo it and be like, wait, we'll be back in 2 minutes. And that was when we were podcasting all the time.
Yeah, I mean, we have been here for the last hour trying to
nobody needs to know that.
figure that out. But
you've been doing all the work.
not only we're in, but we have listeners.
Oh my gosh, Nolan, you're already back.
Nolan's back.
It's like you were waiting for us for a year.
Yeah, I feel like we should address the elephant in the room.
Yeah,
It's been like
Chris quit for a while.
Well, I didn't quit.
You just gave up.
I didn't give up at all.
It was he had so much going on in his mind when it came to like what he wanted to create and do. It was like almost like a mathematician genius.
I don't understand how I'm getting blamed for all of this.
Where you got so much going on in your head and then you just all of a sudden become a recluse and can't even live with yourself because of so much greatness.
Can I tell
going
him
on.
what actually happened?
Sure.
All right.
Yeah.
So our last recording was right around Christmas of last year. We had a Christmas show, I think. Mm-hmm. And what happened was me and Jerry at equal times became prima donnas. Yeah. And we both decided that we all had our creative pursuits that each one of us wanted to fulfill out in the world. And we failed.
I mean,
at all of those pursuits.
Every bit of it.
And so we're right back here at Snarf Talk making mediocre content.
Mediocre content that everyone loves, by the way, that you love. Yeah, no, it's been a while, and
it's been a while.
It seemed like
since I said I'm sorry.
Especially this last summer seemed like a huge snowball effect of children getting in the way.
Yeah,
of everything.
You'd think, oh no, we're glitching. We
are? How do you know that?
Our video is glitching.
It's not for me.
Okay, well that's good.
Anyway, yeah, it was like children's fault.
You think it's harder. It would be easier as the kids get older to find the time to do something like this, but it actually gets harder because they just get involved in more.
Yeah,
and more
it turns out to be
activities.
the exact opposite.
Yeah,
because they're doing so much more, and like obviously I have 3 boys, so they're 2 years apart, so they're always in different age groups when it comes to sports, and they're always in different towns. They're always on different days than what you do it, since you had to have a girl there in the middle.
Yeah.
She has to do her thing.
Yeah, no. So it's whatever. There's no excuse.
There isn't.
We tried many times. We failed many times. But we're back and with a renewed commitment in the new year for a new season. This is going to be an all-new season of Snarf.
What season will this be? 4 or 5?
I think 4.
I think it's 4. Yeah.
If anybody is on with us live, let us know if it's glitching out or if you're getting audio is good and all that stuff works. Because, like I said, it has been a little while. We're trying to make sure all our technical ducks are in a row.
And if it isn't,
where does that saying come from?
Technical ducks?
No, just ducks in a row. Like I got to make sure I get all my ducks in a row.
Well, I mean, it'd be from ducks and their babies. Like all the chicks follow them in a row.
Oh yeah. That makes perfect sense.
Yeah, it really does.
Is that really it?
It has to be.
Where?
Make sure you've got your ducks in a row. That means like you've got all your babies behind you, like all the stuff.
Organized. Yeah, that is totally got to be it. But however,
I'm so surprised
some
that you wouldn't
sources
know
suggest the phrase comes from the game of pool. When a number of balls called sitting ducks line up neatly near the pocket and can be tapped in one after another. That is called getting your ducks in a row.
Okay. But that's like receiving the ducks in a row. Like you're receiving your ducks in a row, like so that you could easily knock them out.
But like you set them up with your pool shots.
But you personally getting your ducks in a row would be like doing that, like putting them in order.
Okay.
You know what I mean?
according to languagehumanities.org, there's 3 plausible theories surrounding the origin of get your ducks in a row. Right?
Okay, yeah.
The most popular theory comes from the world of sports, specifically bowling. Early bowling pins were often shorter and thicker than modern pins, which led to the nickname ducks. Before the advent of automatic resetting machines, these duck pins would be manually put back in place between bowling rounds. Therefore, having won ducks in a row would be a metaphor for having all the bowling pins organized and properly balanced. So that's the first theory. Second theory is your theory of the ducks, like actual ducks. And the third theory is, well, then they're talking about carnival games, but I'm going to skip that one.
Yeah, I don't.
That's the third theory is a carnival game where you shoot the little ducks and they go on a little belt.
Yeah,
the ducks in a row.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know.
I
don't think anybody knows.
I mean, the answer is the real life duck with its babies in a row. That's the answer.
Well, apparently not.
I mean, I don't know why anybody would even argue that.
I'm not.
You're trying to.
The internet is arguing with you.
The internet's wrong in this case. I mean, it's really about getting your baby ducks in a row.
Okay.
So that you can paddle along.
So everybody
all happy.
says the broadcast is working and our ducks are in a row.
Good.
It's a long worker.
And we are.
Danny said
ducks
we're
are in
good.
the row.
Rayanne says if you don't talk about New Year's Eve, well, I'm still awake. I'm going to be upset. We can do a New Year's Eve recap.
Yeah.
In fact, we're having like a New Year's Eve episode tonight because
it is.
If you stick around later on, we're going to do the top 10 ranked, not according to us.
Not according to us.
According to like Ranker or something, top 10 New Year's resolutions. And then me and Jerry are going to provide insight on how you can best achieve
your personal goals.
Yeah, your personal goals.
How are you going to achieve your personal goals? We'll tell you.
Yeah.
In a top 10 list.
We're going to be like the Dave Ramsey's
of New Year's Eve New Year's Eve resolutions. Goals. Yeah. I think that would be good. New Year's Eve was great. I had a good time. I don't know what she specifically would like me to talk about.
I think she is proud of the spread she put together, and she wants a little credit, Jerry, because the day after, I actually hung out with Jerry on, was that yesterday?
That was yesterday, yeah.
Yeah, yesterday we went out for a nice little lunch.
Yep.
And then we perused,
you know, the scenery.
The scenery. We hopped around. We went to Curly's.
Yeah, that was the last stop.
That was our last stop. Saw a really good 3-piece band.
Yeah, they were awesome.
I don't know what they were called.
Like,
maybe the Dapper Dans. I don't know.
No, 3 on the Tree.
Yeah, 3 on a Tree. They were really good. But point is, we were talking about, because we didn't spend New Year's Eve night together.
Nope.
I went to a party. You went to a party. The next day, so I'm asking him about it. He said, yeah, I went to this awful New Year's Eve party. Had the worst food.
Yeah. That's not at all.
And he said, all morning I was sick from oyster poisoning.
Yeah, right. No, I never got sick by any of it, but there was a lot of food. So there was crab. She got crab delivered from Maine. I believe it was like up from Maine or northeast. And then they got 100 oysters from Low Country, like in South Carolina. And then sirloin, smoked chicken, and a bunch of different sides. But there was a ton of crab. And she already had all the crab made. All of it cracked and claws.
From Maryland.
Maryland. Okay.
And that's what they do. Maryland.
That is what they do. Crab was wonderful. And the funny part is that I told her, I was like, you and I were talking about crab the night before that on the Saturday when we went to a concert.
Oh, yeah.
So
we
went to a concert. We were talking about crab, on how annoying it is to have to crack open crab legs.
It's the worst. I just don't have it because of that.
I completely agree. I don't usually want to order it in a restaurant because I don't want to sit there and have to crack it open. And I know some people can crack them really well and really fast, and good for you, man. I can't.
It's a thing to be proud of.
Yeah, I can't do it real fast. And honestly, I don't want to have to work for my food.
I don't like to use scissors when I'm trying to eat.
Not at all. And then every time I've ever ordered crab, either my oldest or middle son will want to also order crab, and then I have to do it for them because it's impossible for them to crack it.
It's a double whammy.
It is. It's a double whammy on the old crab. It does make me like a super crab. Anyway,
but in this case,
she cracked them all. She was cracking claws all afternoon. Got all the claws separated, seasoned them up, cooked them,
just
whatever.
put the crab meat on a platter.
And yeah, well, it was with the claw, so you could just suck it out. You know, it was great. The oysters were wonderful. David and Tim shucked oysters most of the evening and got them all shucked. Those were really good. obviously steak's good. So the sirloin was good, but everything, the spread was wonderful. And I told her when she had texted me earlier in the day, I was like, are you like feeding an army? Because this is like a lot of food. She's like, no, just a few of us showing up.
She said she cocktailed the claw.
That's what that's called, cocktailed. I didn't know that. I've never even heard of that.
Is that it? Or did you guys were you drinking shots out of the claw?
No,
later?
we did a couple oyster shooters.
Nice.
You ever done them?
Don't even know what it is.
Oh, it's almost like a Bloody Mary in a little shot glass, but you put an oyster in with it.
Oh, that sounds great.
Yeah, it was wonderful.
Nolan just said this will derail what we're talking about, but he said, I just assumed you were both pursuing avant-garde art careers. Jerry was posing nude for blind art students, and Chris was covering himself in paint and rolling around on a canvas yelling, art!
Why do the art students have to be blind?
I don't know.
And why would I, if they're blind, why am I even naked?
Because they're just feeling you.
Oh, well, I'm into that.
Yeah. It's funny because we did recently, me and you had a discussion about like the hot thing on TikTok is like the painting that people do with all the spinning.
Yes, the buckets.
Like
and
the blotchy stuff.
the buckets that like they poke holes in.
And Jerry's not a fan.
I hate it so much. I don't consider that. Okay, yes, it can be called art. I just don't. I could do that just as well as they can.
Do it then.
I mean, I just don't want to purchase all the paint and the cleanup. They waste 84% of the paint that they buy.
Paint is not cheap.
And no, it's not cheap.
Especially that quality of paint with the pigmentation.
So it's always the bucket one that I really don't like. But then there's also those painters that just like throw it at the canvas. Honestly, those guys I think are a little bit more efficient than the bucket people. The bucket people are just literally dumping paint. Like
what about
on the ground
Big Lebowski
as
when
it
she
spins
flies nude while like flipping the paintbrush across the entire room?
Yeah, that's cool.
It's pretty sweet.
I'm not a big fan of that style of art.
All right.
And I don't know why anybody would buy it, to be honest.
Back to New Year's Eve. Rand said she is a bit proud and gives some props to David, but it pains her to do so. And I understand that. I do understand that. But when it comes to food, it's okay to give David props.
It is.
He's pretty...
I have no problem with it because I enjoy the outcome of the food. I enjoy eating it. I have no problem telling him he did a good job.
I enjoyed it as well, although I wasn't invited. So I didn't.
I told you didn't need an invite. Could have just showed up.
No, it's fine. We had plans.
No, it was good. Other than that, we just kind of played euchre and chatted. Didn't do anything real.
You know what I played recently
exciting?
at Christmas? That I think I know I've played it before, but it's been so long that I didn't remember how to play it at all. Mm-hmm. That's gin rummy.
So gin is when you have to get the full set in your hand before you lay it down, right?
Okay, well then rummy. I don't know. One of those things. I think they're the same thing.
Well, there's rummy and then there's gin rummy. Rummy, you can set down like 3 of a kind or 4 of a kind or a straight, like on the board. You could do it while you're playing the whole time. And
yeah,
then
you do that.
But in gin rummy, you have to have a full set of cards in your hand, right?
I don't know. I just played rummy then.
Like, you have to have like, you can have a 4 of a kind in your hand, but you can't lay anything down yet. You have to have like all of it.
I don't know. I don't know.
Well, you just said you played it.
I played rummy.
Oh, not gin rummy.
Well, I don't know what it's called, Jerry. I don't know what it's called.
I think there's a difference.
You can lay down 3.
Look it up. You didn't believe me about the ducks in a row. You might as well look up.
And you weren't right.
I am right.
Turns out you just made it up.
That's not true. You said you saw it.
It's about pool balls.
No, the pool. That's
pins.
bull crap. The pool balls is a joke. I don't believe it.
Rayanne said I wouldn't have come to that party anyway. I don't think that's true. I would have came.
Yeah, you would have absolutely come. You would have came. I mean, how would you know if you don't invite him?
At the party we played that I went to, we played a game which I actually got for Christmas as well, completely independent of this happening, and it's a horse racing game. Have you ever seen that one?
No, you were just telling me about it the other night, but I don't even remember what it's called.
I recommend this. This is a group dice game, betting game.
It's a dice game.
And you have a board in front of you with horses 2 through 12. Mm-hmm. And there's pegs on the board to get from the starting line to the finish line. And 7 obviously is more commonly rolled, so you have to hit that one 20 times to get to the finish.
Yeah.
2 is barely ever rolled, so you only get to hit that 4 times to get to the finish line. So it's all proportioned out doing the odds of the rolling. But here's the key. The first 4 horses, the first 4 people roll and they get a horse. So they might get horse number 4. that the first 4 horses are out of the race. So
wait. Do you pick your horse prior to rolling dice?
No. You hand out playing cards, a full deck without the kings and aces, 2 through queen.
Oh.
And whatever cards you get in front of you, those are your horses.
Oh, okay.
Okay, for the round. All right, and then you go.
So
ahead.
you have multiple horses.
Yeah. Depends on how many people play.
Right.
Because it's just you deal out the cards one at a time until they're gone.
Oh, wow.
So you could have 5 cards, you could have 3 cards. It just depends.
Mm-hmm.
But the first 4 race horses get disqualified from the race. So the first 4 people roll, and they each get a number.
Yeah.
And those. So say you roll, and you get a
3,
4. Horse number 4 is out of the race at $1. So anybody that rolls a 4 has to put $1 in the pot. The next one that gets rolled, like say it's 5 is $2. So anytime anybody rolls a 5 in the round, they got to put $2 in the pot, and then $3 and $4 respectively. And then you go ahead and play the game. So
that can get pricey.
You go around rolling dice. Well, it's supposed to be played with nickels, dimes, and quarters and 50 cents. That's how we played at our house. But at New Year's Eve, where we went, he played it with
You're
dollars.
a high roller.
It wasn't my rolls. It wasn't my house. So it wasn't too bad. We all put in $20, and most people, you lose some, and then your horse might win. So whatever horse wins, whoever's got the card. So if horse number 12 wins, whoever's got a queen splits the pot evenly. So 4 people
because there
might
could
have
be
a queen.
4 people that have the queen.
It's a fun game, but here's the thing. So we opened it up. I got it for Christmas. We opened it up to play with the kids on day after Christmas, and there's a little postcard in there. And on the back side, it's got the story of like the family that created this game.
Okay.
It's this guy, and he created this game in his garage. He was a woodworker, and then his wife got involved. They were young, in their early 30s. They had 3 kids.
Wow.
And they kind of grew and grew, and then they built, and they got
Is this still like a family-run company?
Absolutely. Yeah. So they got a workspace. They hired a couple people. They started getting bigger. This is all in this postcard, you know? And so they are getting ready to go pitch to Churchill Downs because they want to get like a sponsored game. And then they're getting ready to go to Las Vegas to this game show convention to get like picked up for distribution. And then the guy gets colon cancer.
Oh, no.
And he dies in like 12 months. And they keep this going. So on this card, it's like, check out the video, the history on the website. So Marley goes to it. I'm telling her a story. I'm like, this is unbelievable.
Right.
I mean, this card is in this game. It's a super sad story.
Yeah.
So she's like, oh, I'm going to watch the video. So we watch the video. By the end of the video, we're both crying.
Oh, my gosh.
Because it's super sad. And at the end, they bring his like now teenage son and like his 8-year-old son. Because this is only like 5 or 6 years ago.
Wow.
And they're talking
about... So he was young.
And they're talking about their dad and how he created this game and how it's gotten so successful. After he died, his wife took it to Las Vegas, got the sponsorships, got
That's
everything.
when it got so successful?
Companies started going up more. They hired more people. Now they have like 12 games. That they all wooden.
No kidding.
Yeah.
That's awesome. So what's the company's name? Do you know? Didn't think that. I didn't pay attention to the company name. That didn't... Didn't even think to look at what it was called.
Don't know.
What is the actual game called? Horse?
It's called the horse racing game.
The horse racing game. Okay.
Elena said some of us lost it all. Yeah, Elena did. So did Marley.
Oh.
They lost all their money. I won, but I had to cover Marley's losses, so I ended up $9 down.
$9.
And see, the same. So Zach won too. So I don't know what he ended up.
Oh, see, that's not. He probably won all of Elena's money.
Well, Elena ran out of money, Heather ran out of money, and Marley ran out of money. Everybody else, Chad walked away with all the money.
Of course he did.
Suspicious.
Yeah,
a little
that's
suspicious.
Weird. That's weird.
Ryan said, why was this never played at Kinsman Bar? I don't know, because this is a Kinsman Bar game. Because it's like...
But it probably wasn't created yet.
No, I don't think it was, because I think this guy created it in like 2014, 15. But it's like a dice game, because we used to go to Kinsman and play dice.
It's got dice, it's got cards, it's got money.
It's got everything.
It's got horses, a wooden board. I mean, everything you'd want.
Yeah.
I like that. Man. I didn't get a horse racing game, and I didn't play that. I played good old euchre on New Year's Eve.
I love euchre.
And you know, you can't really beat it. I just really love that game.
Well, I will say this Rummy is a pretty fun game, but there's a lot of thinking involved.
Yeah, it just...
A lot more than euchre, that's for sure.
I don't know. There's some thinking in euchre.
For sure.
Every hand is different.
There's strategy, but it's kind of like a small set of rules. So like once you know how to play it, it's not that difficult to.
No, it's not.
It's really more about risk taking than it is.
It
about
is. It can be more about risk taking, and then but making sure
rummy,
you know
so
the hands.
You're making 3-card hands and laying them out for a certain amount of points, and then you're playing off of everybody else's hands.
Yeah.
And I don't know. It was interesting.
I don't know. I'd have to go back and play Rummy again because I don't know if I remember it either. I know somewhat of the premise, but I'm not a rum. I've never been a real Rummy guy.
I mean, we're in the Midwest. We're in euchre country.
We are. There's a lot of people around here that don't know how to play euchre, though.
A lot. It's weird.
It is weird.
Because that's like all we did in middle school and high school. All the time.
Yeah.
Erica just said it. Loved euchre. Loved playing euchre on the stage at MVK. We
Yeah,
played it in
we
middle
did on
school,
stage.
in high school for sure, at lunch in the commons or whatever, every day.
Yeah. I learned spades, like in the military, which is exactly like euchre, only you're only playing with spades. And you've got to, like, call your tricks, basically. You know, how many you're going to take. So you say, like, you're going to get 3
I've played
this
it,
hand.
but not for a while. I always remember it being...
It's very similar, but...
It's kind of simple.
Just, yeah. It's
nothing
that I
folk.
need. Yeah.
That's why you liked it.
And that's why we played it in the military. We were all a little simple back then.
Can we get rid
But
of
we played it a lot.
box by our feet?
This is how you keep the place. He's just got random boxes
Man,
of
I'm going
rags
to tell you
around.
right now, you guys can't really see the full spectrum of this office right here, this studio. It's a disaster.
You don't need to. Yeah, you don't need to. Luckily, I'm big and I cover up your desk behind you.
We do have a plan to move to our new studio soon. We have a plan. Okay, so
that's a bit of a bomb you're dropping. That we're moving the studio.
that's the plan.
That's the plan.
We're making our New Year's resolution. That's why we did this today on the 2nd, because we want to inform everybody that we're committed
We are.
To getting-
This is the second, isn't it? Holy cow!
to getting back into
getting
the
after this
groove
early.
of Snarf Talk. Like our vacation, if you will, is over.
Yeah.
It's over.
It's done. I wouldn't call it a vacation, but it was a hiatus.
Prolonged period of introspection.
Yeah. Really digging deep in ourselves, figuring things out. But we've got multiple signs around here that we need to get in the show, so people can see it and ooh and ah at it.
Yeah, we have neon signs that say Snarf Talk. We got pictures of us as conquerors,
Yeah, like generals.
generals.
Yeah.
We've
think-
showed them all before. Just
We have shown them all, but we need them up so that you can
Displayed.
see it,
Yeah.
during the show. And moving the studio to this new space, I believe we would be able to do that. I think it'll be good.
Yeah.
It's going to have a nice, what kind
je
of
ne sais
feel?
quoi.
Yeah. I was going to say like a homier feel or like I don't know, like an actual studio feel rather than you can tell like we're in an office building.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Out in the middle of nowhere.
Well,
But it's still an
we will
office building.
still be in the middle of nowhere.
Right.
So
Adam, you refuse to learn euchre. Well, this is why you and I have problems. I don't understand why you would refuse to play euchre. It's very simple when you actually get a
it
hold
really
of it.
is.
Takes a couple games to get used to. Once you're in it though. You're in the pocket. I think that's what they call it.
Is it?
When you're in the pocket.
Inside the pocket of a cloud. Ooh-ah, ooh-ah,
Wait.
ooh-ah.
What's the song you were singing last night that I don't remember?
This is incredible, folks. Okay,
I don't
follow along
know.
with me on here. I start singing this song. Why did I even start singing it?
I don't know.
But we're driving
It's a
to
polka song.
Curly's, right?
Yeah.
We're driving there, me and Marley and Jerry, and I start singing, roll out the barrel, we'll have a barrel of fun. Roll out the barrel. I don't remember the next part.
Yeah.
I just sang we'll have a barrel of fun again. Anyway, Marley is like, that's not a song. Stop that. That's crazy. What are you talking about?
I didn't think it wasn't a song.
No,
I
you-
just
you-
didn't know it. I was
you
like,
did.
that's not a thing. Is it?
You 100% agreed that you've never heard that song.
I had never heard it.
So please tell me in the comments if you've heard Roll Out the Barrel before, because I think everybody's going to say that they have.
I don't
And
think
they would
it had.
not believe me that it's a polka classic.
It
And I had to go on YouTube and pull it up, and I played it, and it was a good version.
it was a good
And
version.
we were jamming out pretty well, too.
It is a good song. But no, I had never heard it. Didn't know it was a thing. I don't see how it's that common. How could it be that common?
I mean, how much polka do you listen to?
None.
You don't listen to any polka?
No. You do just on a regular basis. Just throw on some polka here and there. I doubt it.
Nolan says Brewers. Do they play it? What, do they play it at Brewers games?
I don't know. Brewer, maybe.
Here's the point. Everybody
What
needs
is
to
the
listen
point?
to a little bit of polka.
I would agree. It's not a bad thing.
It's
But-
fun.
It is fun. It definitely raised the mood right away.
really did.
I mean, it lifted the car up
The
off
spirits
the
were
road. I
high.
think we literally floated our way to Curly's the rest of the way.
Oh no, I'm getting a nosebleed.
No, you're not. Anyway, I hadn't heard it. It is great, and I guess I'm gonna have to listen to polka even more. But the polka, what was it? What did we say? The Polka Kings of the Midwest.
Yes.
Aren't they? That's John Candy's band. There is what's it called? A conspiracy theory that John Candy's, what is it? It's like between two movies where he's playing the same character, and him as the Polka King of the Midwest, like that guy, is actually trying to sabotage.
Oh, he's the devil.
Is that
That's
what
the
it is?
conspiracy theory. I'm switching to Jerry camera because
Hi.
I have a
Hi, everyone.
bloody nose right now, so we're gonna have to deal with that. And I don't want you guys
It
to
is.
have to
I'm just going to stare at it.
It's a lot. It's a lot of blood.
Hopefully it's not an aneurysm, because that's bad.
Do you get bloody noses?
Not very often.
I used to get all the time when I was a kid.
No, I really don't. So there was a guy.
So I might have a bit of a nasally tone.
that you always kind of do. It's not a big deal.
So anyway, Adam says, "Love me some Gus Polanski,
Polinsky.
the Polka King."
That's his name, huh?
Oh, Pam said it's a classic polka.
I didn't know. I've never been in the polka scene.
Nolan says it's played at all the Brewers games.
That makes sense that it would be played there.
It's a super common song, Jerry.
Okay, I believe you. I'm just saying I had never heard of it before. And I don't think that's weird that I've never heard of it. Like, there's a lot of people that don't hear certain things. You didn't know that ducks in a row were ducks in a row.
Well, we don't know that.
Yes, we do.
Nobody seems to know that.
I think it's ducks in a row.
Hey, Ian. How's it going? What were you about to say, though, before I cut you off?
No, the conspiracy about him, and you said he's supposed to be the devil.
Yeah. So, and it's a good theory, or it's an interesting theory, too, because part of it talks about how, like, he's deliberately slowing her down.
Yes.
So there is a scene in the airport when she says, "I will sell my soul to the devil."
And then he shows
to
up.
the devil himself, and he shows up right behind her there and says he'll take her. Well, then he takes her, and they make that contract, and
They do.
they end up. It takes them so long to get there that the family and her basically
Get
arrive
there
at the same time, and so she sold her soul for nothing, and that's like the whole thing about the story of
Right.
the devil taking
That's
people's
what
souls.
Okay. That's what I forgot. But I thought there was a tie into another movie or something. Maybe I'm wrong on that. But I knew there was like a conspiracy about that
Like
specific
planes,
character.
trains, and automobiles.
Yes.
Was he also the Polka King
Well,
in that one?
no, he wasn't. But he also slowed. What's his name? And I don't remember his
Steve Martin.
Steve Martin. But I was trying to think of his name in the show. But he also slows him down a lot. Like takes him on some weird journeys, and they do some crazy things.
What's a better movie of those two? They're both great.
Oh, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles.
It's better than Home Alone?
Absolutely. 1,000%.
Planes, Trains, and Automobile, is that a Thanksgiving movie? Did we determine that once?
It is. He's going home for Thanksgiving. It's one of the only ones we could think of that was a Thanksgiving movie. But that movie is far superior than Home Alone.
I don't know. Home Alone's pretty good. And I only
not
enjoy
even-
it more and more as I get older.
I do too, and I'll watch it every year.
You know what we watched a lot this year? Home Alone 2.
Lost in New York.
Yeah.
I like the Pigeon Lady.
It's exactly the same
It's
story.
100% the same. Yeah, it's no different. But Planes, Trains, and Automobiles has like everything you want out of a movie. Like there's like heart to it, gets serious at times, but the comedy is just absolute gold.
Okay, what about that versus Uncle Buck?
I like Uncle Buck. I don't know.
There's nothing better than Uncle Buck. Come on.
Yeah, I like Uncle Buck a lot.
We should be ranking John Candy movies.
I think we tried one time. I think we did one time. I believe this was a discussion we
Where
had.
does Arachnophobia land?
Is he in that?
Yeah, he's the main character.
I don't remember.
Wait, or is it John
I've
Goodman?
seen it.
No, it's John Candy.
I don't remember. I've seen Arachnid.
On Ranker, Uncle Buck is rated number 1 for John Candy movies.
I wouldn't argue that.
Planes, Trains, and Automobiles number 2. Great Outdoors number 3. Summer Rental number 4.
I don't know that one.
Stripes number 5. I don't know that one either. I mean, I know Stripes, not Summer Rental. Number 6 is Spaceballs. 7, Cool Runnings. 8, Blues Brothers. 9, Brewster's Millions. Oh, I love that movie.
I don't know if I've ever even seen that.
You've never seen with Richard Pryor and
no, I've heard of it, but I don't know if I've seen it all the way through. One of my favorites, honestly, and nobody's gonna.
Who's Harry Crumb?
Yes,
That's
who is Harry Crumb?
Number 12 on the list.
Oh, that's got to be in the top 10 for me. It's probably top 5 for me.
Delirious is good too. That's way down on the list. I like
Delirious. Is very good.
He's got a lot of small. He's not the star in.
But he is in Who is Harry Crumb
For sure.
and he's a private detective. He does also. It's an awesome movie. It's hilarious.
I also love Nothing But Trouble. It's a huge guilty pleasure of mine.
I don't know if I know that one either.
Yeah, Chevy Chase, Dan Aykroyd. The Chevy Chase, we've talked about it before.
Yeah.
He goes to he gets off the road and he runs out of gas or something and he ends up in this junkyard. And Dan Aykroyd plays multiple characters and they're like a weird family, like horror family. And they're like,
Huh.
It's great.
That sounds weird.
It's very weird. It's one of those movies that never would get made anymore these days, and just makes you wonder.
Yes, Planes, Trains, and Automobiles was filmed in Braidwood at the Braidwood Hotel.
The Sands?
Some of it. Yeah.
Yeah, I knew that.
And Nolan also said it was Goodman for, I'm assuming, Arachnophobia,
Yeah.
which I don't remember that either.
I
honestly don't remember.
SCTV was better than SNL. There are for sure SCTV moments that are way better than SNL, but as a whole of a show,
Gone, you've been gone so long. You've been gone so long.
and you got so much more history to SNL, like so many different casts to choose from. Because the old casts were amazing, and you don't think it's going to get better, but then those casts from the '90s were incredible.
And yeah, you always hated the turnover, but it always turned out good, except for the last.
I've heard. I don't
10 years.
watch it anymore. I've heard the new cast is pretty good, but
I'm not a fan. I'm not a big fan. I watched one episode with Nate Bargatze.
Oh yeah,
Is that how you say his last name? Bargatze.
He's my favorite comedian. Oh, I gotta put something on what you're watching.
That episode that he hosted was pretty good. The whole show was pretty good, but there was a few sketches out of it, 2 in particular, that were hilarious.
I think I'm back. Oh, I'm back.
You are. There he is, folks. He didn't bleed out.
Nope.
Congratulations.
It's just pouring down the back of my throat.
Well, that's good.
This is the third. It's the third bloody nose I've gotten today.
Today,
Yeah.
you need moisture air. You need to steam.
I have a humidifier in my house attached to the furnace,
Mm-hmm.
but there's no way to know whether it's working or not. I don't know how to make sure.
Is it hard lined in, with
Yeah.
water to it? Oh,
Yeah. But there's no readout. I need to get a hold of
people.
Szymanski. I need to
Yeah.
get him over there.
Get old Timmy over there. He'll look at it for you.
Anyway, so SCTV, yeah, I love some of the bits, but when you're looking at the whole of it all, I think it's hard. It's really hard for me to pick it over.
I haven't really watched it that much. I've seen clips of it, but I've never sat and watched a whole show.
I don't know that I've ever really sat and watched the whole show, other than when I was a kid and it would be on reruns or something. But clips for sure.
Yeah, that's all I ever see is clips, because I don't know if I've ever seen the show on TV broadcasted.
Now, at the time when I was a kid or in high school, I don't know when it was on, I probably would have said Mad TV was superior to SNL.
Yes,
And it
I would
definitely
agree.
appealed more towards a younger demographic, I think.
I always loved Mad TV.
For sure.
I thought it was great, and In Living Color was good.
See, I didn't watch a lot of In Living Color.
I did early Jim Carrey stuff.
Yeah.
He was awesome on that show.
I really liked the story, and we'll talk about it in what you're watching, but in the new Dave Chappelle special when he talks about meeting Jim Carrey.
Yes,
That's good.
Okay, yeah, we'll talk about it when we talk about what we're watching, because I have opinions.
I do too, for sure. I have opinions on that special because, I love Chappelle. So
I do too. He's gotten so much better in the last, I don't know, 5 years, 6 years. I don't even know if it's been that long. I used to like him a lot, and I loved the Chappelle show, but his stand-up in general has been, perfect.
We'll talk about it.
Yeah. Most of it.
Yeah.
Most of it.
Do you want to get into the New Year's stuff, or we're not far in enough yet? Do you have any news?
The only news I have is that
I just want to say for having a year off to come into the gate and get this many viewers.
Yeah.
It's pretty incredible.
I'm proud. I'm proud of it.
He looking like a guy.
You're looking like a guy.
The Mad TV skit.
I don't
Was
remember.
it Alex Bornstein?
I don't remember it.
She plays like an older Asian lady. And then he looking like a guy.
Yes. I don't know her name, though.
I might be getting that wrong.
You probably
Stewart? No.
are. Well, yeah, that's a classic. What else is from Mad TV?
I don't know. Bobby Lee was on it.
Bobby Lee was like a main character.
Speaking of Bobby Lee, I've kind of like after Harvest, I stopped listening to my stable of podcasts regularly, and I was kind of getting worn out on some of the stuff I've been listening to, which is mostly like Rogan and TESD, and any of the ones with Tom Segura. It's just kind of getting worn out on him a little bit. I felt like Rogan I still love him, but he wasn't getting like the best guests all the time. So I'm like, I got to get something new to listen to. And I've always watched clips of Bad Friends.
Yes.
But I've never listened to the full podcast. What a treasure.
It really is.
That podcast is. It is.
I haven't
phenomenal.
listened to a ton of like full length episodes, but I've listened to a lot of it, and they're always good.
If you're looking for a good, solid, straight up, just comedy podcast.
Yeah. I don't know how they do it.
That's rated R.
Oh, very much so.
But if you like just a straight up comedy, no interview. Well, they do occasionally have interviews, but it's one of the best out there right now.
It's hilarious. It's always hilarious, and that's what I say. I don't know how they do it.
The thing that's weird about it too is I never really cared much for Bobby Lee in podcasts that I've seen him in, but the more I listen to him and Andrew Santino together, like the more I like.
I personally think Andrew Santino is what makes that.
Oh, for sure.
Whole show.
I don't know. They work great together.
They do work really well together, but I think he like drives it for me.
Adam said Shane Gillis's stuff is gold. There's where we're gonna agree.
Yes.
Yeah.
I do agree with you, Adam, because I like Shane Gillis a lot. He's like a bro. You know what I mean? Like
he is phenomenal, and I don't know if it's because he's super funny, obviously, but he's so familiar to like a lot of comedians and people in Hollywood. When you listen to them, it's hard to 100% relate because they just didn't live the same lives as us, really. But and I'm not saying that he did either. He just seems like more familiar, like people that we hang out with. Or
absolutely.
Have hang out with. Like he just seems like a Midwestern dude.
One of his funniest.
I don't even know if he's from the Midwest, but
I don't know where he's from either. But I think it's like Ohio or something. I think he is from close to the Midwest.
He just there's a familiarity that I, know from like our friends.
There's one of the funniest things that I've heard him say was, he's like, listen to this resume I have. He's like, I went to West Point. He's like, and I got some medals. He's like, so technically I'm a decorated veteran. He's like,
but he was never in the military, right? He played football there.
Yeah, no, just wait. Okay. He's like, I got accepted to like a D1 school or D1 football team. He's like, was on that team. He's like, and then I was on Saturday Night Live for like a day. He's like, and I was on Saturday Night Live. He's like, I've got all three of these things. He's like, and I never did a one of those. He's like, I dropped out of all of it. He's like, I got fired from one and dropped out from the other two. He's like, but they're on my resume.
But he's the most popular comedian right now, or one of the.
And I think it's hilarious because he really didn't. He's like, I didn't do any of that stuff. He's like, but I tell everyone that I've been involved with it. I think it's funny.
Elena said, do you listen to Nate Bargatze's podcast? I don't, and I actually didn't even know I know he's on one with a bunch of people. I didn't know he had his own.
Yeah, he does, and I don't know what it's called.
Right now, honestly, it's close between about 5 comedians, but Nate Bargatze for me is number one right now for me as far as comedians. His last 3 specials, they're all amazing.
Yeah.
And like even Shane Gillis's, which I love, there's parts of his special that I was just kind of like, it wasn't that funny.
Right.
Some parts are great though.
He does have a good special.
But I feel like Nate Bargatze's are solid gold, like
the whole time. Every single thing he says.
And I love that it's clean and PG-13, and you can actually like listen to it with your kids around.
With anybody around, yeah. Instead of pausing it immediately whenever a child comes around, that you have to do with a lot of comedians.
Like Shane Gillis's, you cannot.
No, not at all. No. But who are your others? Like, so you've got Nate as your top.
For sure, Nate, Shane Gillis, Chappelle, probably Rogan still.
As a comedian?
Yeah, I like his last special that he had.
I didn't see it.
I just watched Ricky Gervais's. He's always been up on my list, although his last special was not
I didn't watch
good.
that either.
I didn't feel like it was that good.
I've never been a huge fan of Joe Rogan's comedy, actual comedy.
It's hit or miss sometimes, I think, but I don't know. Name some other ones that are popular right now that are out there.
Tom Segura.
Tom Segura, yeah, he'd definitely be up there.
Yeah.
There's other ones though, like Andrew Santino's last one. I'm a huge fan
good.
of his. It's okay.
What about that other Andrew Schultz?
Love Andrew Schultz. Yeah,
He's on the fence for me.
I actually saw him live before he was famous.
You did?
Didn't I tell you that before?
I don't
In a
think
little
so.
a little bar in Marco Island, Florida.
Why were you there?
Went down there for a wedding, Dan's wedding.
Oh.
And we were there for a couple extra days before and after. And one night there was like one bar on Marco Island, and we're like, oh, they're gonna have a comedian.
Yeah.
So we got tickets and we went, and it was him. And I didn't know who he was at that time. I didn't know who he was till years and years and years and years later.
Really?
And I didn't even put two and two. I didn't even remember his name from that night we saw him, but I remembered how he sat.
What?
You ever watch his show during the Andrew Schultz show during the pandemic?
I've seen it.
YouTube?
Yeah.
He has a weird way, like I don't know. I just remember the way he was sitting.
Okay.
And I'm like, boy, that looks exactly like how that comedian was sitting. And then I remember his voice. I'm like, that's him.
That's him. Yeah.
And I went back and looked it up, and I found it somehow in his calendar from like 6 years ago or something.
You went back and looked at where he played?
Yeah.
Wow. I don't know. He's okay. But I don't know if I'd put him in one of the tops.
Adam said, yo, Danny, where'd you get that cheese? That's one of my favorite bits. When he's talking about his uncle with Down syndrome.
Oh, yes. Because he's like, you can tell I've got a little touch of it, which I think is hilarious.
And after he says that, you're like, oh, you can kind of
You can
see
tell,
that.
yes. He really does, kind of. Which isn't necessarily, it's not a joke.
The Protect Our Park episodes of Rogan are good. I agree. I love to Protect Our Parks. I like, what's the other guy? Mark Norman.
Mark Norman is very good.
Yeah.
He's not clean.
No.
But he's very, very funny. He's got that really dry humor. Or just like a weird, I don't even know how to explain his humor. And the way he like delivers it.
I'm not a huge fan of Ari Gold.
No.
I've never seen his stand-up, though.
I don't think you need to.
No.
I mean, I've never really enjoyed it at all. He's fine as a guest on Rogan, you know, and I think that's okay. And honestly, and this is controversial to a lot of people right now, I'm not a huge Bert Kreischer fan.
I'm not at all.
Yeah, I don't.
We've had that discussion before. I try to be.
A lot of people like him. I just don't think he's that great.
Whenever there's a Two Bears episode and it's just Tom and an interview guest, I'm like, oh great.
Yes, all day long I listen.
Although
to
I will say Bert's a decent interviewer when it's just him and a guest. That's fine.
I never listen to him just because of that. Like I think it's going to be overran by Bert. You know what I mean? Like he's just going to overpower the guest and laugh all the time and just.
Oh, you know who I really like? That girl, and she just got named to a late night show host. Taylor.
Yeah.
Something or other. She's great.
Yes, I know who you're talking about. She's young too.
Yeah.
And she's on a late night show now. Which
Taylor
is huge.
Tomlinson?
Tomlinson, yep.
She's good.
Hopefully she's good on the show. But it's like the late show.
It's after Colbert, I think.
Yeah, because he had her on. After she was like announced as the host, he had her on the show just to like interview her about like how she feels about getting that job. Hopefully it's good. Supposedly it's airing like now, like after the new year.
Ooh, nice. I'm going to start recording that on my new YouTube TV. Boy, if you aren't using YouTube TV, I don't know what you're doing.
I've told you. YouTube
Hulu
TV.
Live, let it go.
Yes.
YouTube TV is where it's at. If you got DirecTV, stop that.
Get rid of it. I've had it for years. Like, I think I've had it for at least 4 years now.
I've not experienced one hiccup in like the 3 months I've had it.
You won't, ever. The only thing that's happened to me recently is it's changed my viewing area. And I don't know why. Just on its own. Changed my viewing area to where my zip code is different. It'll like be in Pennsylvania or something. And so I'll go to watch like regular TV or whatever, and it won't do my recordings. It won't record the shows that I want to record because it changes my viewing area.
That's a big problem.
And yeah, well, I've never actually missed any, but I've caught it in time to where I knew, because I'll try to go and watch like a show that's on ABC or whatever, and I can't watch it because I'm not in the viewing area.
Nolan said, I love Nate's bit about trying to get through the TSA. That's one of the best, but that's one of his best specials.
Which special was that? Not the most recent.
No, I think it was 2 ago. I think it was one of his first ones.
That's another thing.
Tennessee Kid, maybe?
Yeah, that was a while ago.
Oh, yeah. I think it was before the pandemic.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a good one.
I was just going to say something.
Vic said, OMG, the best podcast on the interwebs is back on the air. Yeah, you know it.
Yes, we are.
And Nolan said, love Tomlinson, been following for a while, very self-deprecating. Yeah, I will say, I mean, sometimes it's rare that I feel like I like female comedians. I probably shouldn't say that, but
that's all right. It is what it is.
Sometimes the material doesn't connect the same way, whatever. But she's one that I can definitely watch. There's a couple others. What's her name? Eliza something or other.
Minnelli.
Yeah, Eliza
Minnelli.
I really like her stand-up.
Yeah.
Or that's just her.
Yeah. No, I know who you're talking about. Eliza something.
Schlesinger? Something like that.
Yeah, it is that. I agree with you, though. I haven't ever been a huge fan of a lot of female comedians.
I like Christina Pierzynski or whatever her name
is. Yeah.
She's good.
Tom's wife.
Yeah.
Christy P., right? That's what they call her?
Yamaguchi, yep.
Yeah, Christy Yamaguchi. She's good.
Elena said, maybe change your password, Jerry. Maybe somebody hacked you.
No, nobody's hacking me. Why would I need to change my password?
For YouTube TV. Maybe somebody in Pennsylvania has got your...
Oh, I guess I never really thought about that. I hope that's not the case, but maybe I'm going to do that now. No, I'm pretty sure I did just change that password.
Speaking of YouTube TV and streaming services in general, because we haven't had a podcast in a year.
Yeah.
What are you using now? Because the landscape of streaming has changed dramatically, I feel like, in the last year.
Well, I mean, what do you mean? What am I using?
Very rarely ever go on Netflix. I very rarely find anything on there I want to watch.
I check in every once in a while. The only time Netflix is really on is if Graham wants to watch something like kid oriented. It's still been okay for that.
Like Goo-Jitsu. That's been going on in our house a lot.
No, I don't even know what that is.
It's a kid's cartoon about
goo balls,
gooey jiu-jitsu guys.
Okay, sounds great.
Yeah, no, I don't know. I haven't Prime. No. I've been watching a lot of Prime.
Yeah, I get on Prime. I like Prime because they put out movies some movies that are in theater will be on Prime, and you can rent it for like $3.99, and I'll do that.
I will say I haven't been watching a ton, and I probably should say this when we do what we're watching, but because after Harvest, I was just like exhausted, and I never wanted to watch anything that I had to put thought into.
Right.
So
because you just want to melt
at night. And now I have YouTube TV, so I can go record if you just put in It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, it's always running on reruns. So it just records everything.
Mm-hmm.
And so I started watching at night to go to bed, like The Office.
Which everybody does that.
Yeah. Well, then I got sucked in, and then I had to rewatch the entire series, which takes a long time when you watch one or two episodes a night, and that's it. So it's taken me 3 months to get through it.
I've come to realize out of The Office there are a couple seasons where I just don't need, like the last two.
Well, okay, I can get into this because I just rewatched it all. I will say, I think on this rewatch, I was less. I still love the show, and there's still a lot of great stuff and great moments.
Oh, absolutely.
And I had forgotten most of it, even though I watched it all through before several years ago. So it was totally fun rewatching it. I skipped the first couple seasons because I didn't want to do the whole Jim and Pam. Will they get back together? I think I started on season 3 or 4. The last season is horrible. It's so bad. They change all of the characters. They make Andy awful. In the 2 seasons prior to that, you really start to like Andy as a character.
Yep.
And in the last season, they destroy him.
Yeah.
They destroy Jim and Pam's relationship.
Which I hate.
Until the season finale. And then it
comes back around, but I feel like it was very unnecessary to do.
They make Pam the worst.
And why? Why did they need to change that? They had a great thing going on, and all of a sudden they flip everything on its head after Steve Carell left.
They make Aaron the worst, kind of, in the last season. They all suck in the last season. And they bring on the new guys, Clark and...
That's why I say it's like there's a couple seasons there where they're very unnecessary. Like the last one. I won't even watch season 8. I
read that what they were trying to do is they had planned on, after that ended, rebooting the show with Rainn Wilson's character, with Dwight being like the main character of the show, running the office. And that's why they brought in Clark and Plop.
Yeah, Plop. I forgot about that.
To be like the new cast, but it just didn't work.
Right. And it wasn't going to work.
I did like Clark and
Plop.
Plop was fine.
I thought that's what you were going to say.
But I guess it was fun rewatching it. David said they were setting up some characters for at least a spinoff.
Yep.
There was supposed to be a show that revolves around Dwight. That's what I just said.
Yep. Way to go, David. I know there's a delay.
There is a delay. Which I would have been into. I don't. It's hard for me to believe that they didn't come back with that show. That show has been like the #1 show for like the last 8 years.
Still
on streaming, yeah.
I didn't know that. Somebody else, it just went away, but somebody else just told me to change my password. Now that's got me freaked out. That
no one says after they have the baby terrible. I don't agree with that because there's several seasons after they had kids that were great.
Oh, David said the Dwight show was supposed to revolve around the farm and his extended family, I think.
Oh, well, that would have been great.
I would watch that.
Because those are some of my favorite parts. I'm in the minority here. I love the season with Robert California.
I do too. I like him a lot.
I think that was the second to last season. I like
was
when
it
they
6
brought,
or 7? I don't remember.
I think it must have been
6.
2 before, because then Andy becomes the manager.
Yes. And then whatever Will Ferrell's character is.
Will Ferrell was in there before Robert California.
Yeah.
He was good, but that was only a few episodes.
But it was funny.
Yeah.
I liked it a lot. He has the whole bit where he's like juggling in front of the whole office, but doesn't have any juggling.
The scene, the episode where they bring in Ray Romano, that's great.
I don't remember that.
He interviewed to be the office boss.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's good.
I don't remember it.
That's good. Wasn't The Office supposed to spin into Parks and Recs? I don't know. Parks and Rec. That's one I should probably rewatch.
That's a great show.
It is.
It's one of my favorites.
Now I'm trying to rewatch all of It's Always Sunny in Philadelphia, but I don't feel, and David's going to murder me for this.
I think I'm going to too.
I don't know that it has the same rewatchability because it doesn't have like overarching narratives. Like The Office has a dramatic throughput that like draws you in.
But you know that's what you're getting. Like you know what you're getting from It's Always Sunny.
It's easier to just like pick it up and put it down.
Yes.
Like to actually rewatch it all the way through, there's not a narrative story arc that really connects.
No, but stories come back. I mean, there are bits that always come back. But they're all gags,
you know what I mean? They're not. It's not.
It's just a bit.
There's no resonance.
Right. I still love it. I mean, the newest season that was just out, I thought was great.
Oh, it's great. Yes, I love it too. But I like things with a little meat on the bone, you know.
But it's a different type of show. I mean, that's not what that show is. So you can't put it in the same category as like The Office or Parks.
No, I think if I want to do something similar, I'd go back to Scrubs.
Here's what's sad. I think in the world of new like sitcoms or shows that are coming out, we're talking about stuff that came out years and years ago that most of them are done and over with now. And we're still talking about it, still going back and watching those shows. What is on now?
I don't know.
I mean, what is on now that anybody would do that with?
I don't even know. I can't name you a new sitcom that's out right now. Abbott Elementary, I think, is one. Never watched it.
I never even heard of that.
I've watched Young Rock a little bit. That was pretty good.
I wouldn't watch that.
I don't know what's out.
I think it's
Young Sheldon. That's not bad.
That's over. But
is it?
Yeah, I don't watch any of that stuff.
I don't either. I know I'm thinking of things that are out. Goldberg's was pretty good.
I think
that's over too.
But I really think streaming has changed all of that. Like in the way
I
of TV
wonder
shows.
though. Sometimes I think about that because The Office, after being off the air for a decade, has been the number one or was the number one streaming show for years and years and years when it was on Netflix. And then they took it off. I think it's on Peacock now, maybe.
Yeah, or Paramount Plus. No, Peacock. You're right.
Which I don't have, but you know, that gives these shows that maybe are loss leaders when they first come out some new life and new legs, because now shows that are big budget streaming shows have to compete with a show that has been off the air for 15 years.
Well, I know, and they can't.
And they can't compete with that and Seinfeld and Friends and any of these old shows. So that my point is, so some of these new shows that you haven't heard of now, just because they're not necessarily getting a lot of viewers out of the gate right now, doesn't mean they won't.
They're also going against competition that those shows didn't have to go up against, really. Because like when those shows were playing in the like earlier 2000s or like the 90s or whatever, you didn't have any streaming, so you didn't have it available to you to watch all the time anyways. So the only thing you were left with were the shows that were airing at that time. So people watched them and enjoyed them. Now we have everything available to us, so it's just us making a choice of like, I'd rather watch the one I'm more comfortable with than getting into something new.
Yeah, sometimes. I'm back into new stuff now, so don't worry. But I will say The Office is a great one to rewatch because it is a time capsule, because you go back to the early seasons, and it is a world that doesn't exist anymore.
It's crazy to see it. It really doesn't.
You know, they barely have cell phones in the first couple seasons, you know?
I mean, even in the last 10 years, it's completely different than what it was before. I mean, from 2010 and before is completely different the way we lived and did anything than what we've done in the last 5 or 6 years.
And I feel like The Office magnifies those differences more because it is a workplace comedy, and everybody's familiar with like an office environment to a certain extent.
Yeah.
But it doesn't bother you when you watch Seinfeld, because that show, like, it doesn't bother you that they don't have cell phones in Seinfeld because it isn't part of the show. But that workplace environment is part of the show in The Office, and to see how primitive it was is just crazy to me.
So I just had the conversation with Grady like last week about how we would watch shows as a kid and how you didn't get to record anything. There was no recording or watching it later or watching it however you want and being able to pause. So I was explaining to him, like, when a show aired on, let's say, a Thursday night or a Friday night.
Well, and that's what David's getting into in his point. But yeah, go ahead.
You only had that opportunity to watch it. And like commercial breaks, I was telling him, like, commercial breaks were our time to like run and pee real quick or like get a snack or whatever and come back. Because if you missed any portion of that episode, you missed it. Well, unless you could catch it on a rerun.
I mean, back a ways ago, but when like I had a TiVo.
I'm saying like when we were growing up as kids with them.
Okay.
Like at his age, I was relating to his age and telling him, you know, we couldn't do that.
Before DVRs were a thing.
Right.
Which weren't until I was in college. So after 2002 is when TiVo came out.
Right. And that was the first one, but nobody had them. I mean, very few people got TiVo.
Right.
You know, until way later, until the whole satellite dish market started building them into their own receivers. Like that was the only time that people really started getting them and they were more prevalent in the area. Because if somebody had a TiVo, I was like, what? Like that's a thing where you could just record a show? It blew my mind.
Yeah. Well, and that's the thing too, is even with TiVos and those early DVRs, they only allowed you record one show at a time. Mm-hmm. So if there was something on CBS, ABC, and NBC at the same time, you had to pick.
Yeah.
And then eventually it was two tuners, and now it's as many as you want.
Right. Whatever you want.
We got some. David said to that point, you don't develop the same relationship with a show when you binge it. We all binge new shows. Very few people watch week to week. And that's changing a little bit too. A lot of the new shows are week to week. And
Adam brought that up too. He said that's why I like Mandalorian only airing only airing weekly, gives you more anticipation.
I will say I for sure think the week to week. I don't necessarily agree with what David's saying, because the week to week shows give you that anticipation and they stretch that viewing over several months. If a show comes out that I really want to watch, like The Witcher, and they dump it all at once, because I think that was a dump all at once, right?
Yep.
I'll watch that in 2 days.
Because Netflix still is, right? Almost all their shows are still a dump.
I think so, yeah. And I'll watch those shows in a couple days, and then it's out of your mind. So I prefer it week to week, for sure. Although it is frustrating at times.
So, yes. And I think we've had this conversation before because we've talked about literally everything before, I think. But I used to be like, binge. I want to binge it. I don't want to wait. I love this premise. This is all I want to do
too. Yeah, for sure.
is binge it. once they started doing shows again where it was week to week, I kind of jumped the fence again, and I was like, man, I do like this. I like being able to wait and see it because it
Adam says,
feels more of an experience.
Stranger Things is weekly, and I do think that was weekly, yeah.
It wasn't at first, though.
No, not at first, maybe.
Like the first 2 seasons weren't.
I don't mind it sometimes if they'll drop 2, and then 2, and then 2. Sometimes they'll do that. But with all these new shows only being 8 to 10 episodes, I mean, to dump
most of them are 8 now. And that's what, so that's why I do like Prime, like the Prime shows that come out. They give you 2 or 3, and then it'll be week to week after that. I like that because you get the opportunity to binge a couple, and you feel like you've really got a hold on the show. And then you get the week to week, and you're excited about it.
For sure. Nolan said, now that Avatar: The Last Airbender is a hallowed show. Hallowed?
Like hallowed be thy name.
Okay. Hallowed show with spin-offs, movies, live action. Would you reconsider watching it? Yes, I absolutely would reconsider watching it. The problem is sometimes, and this is going to sound dumb because I just watched probably 4 months of The Office. But sometimes these shows that have like big catalogs are intimidating to me to tie
Absolutely.
into.
It's very intimidating to me.
Dirk jumped into, hey-o, Dirk.
Hey-o.
So should we get into the New Year's resolution thing? Because we're
right at an hour.
We're burning through.
Right at an hour, we can do it.
So what we are going to do now, since it is New Year's, it's the 2nd, we are going to talk about the top 10 New Year's resolutions. And me and Jerry are going to give, I don't know how this is going to go because we didn't plan any of this, but we're going to give our advice or comments on the best ways to approach those resolutions. Are you on Ranker?
I'm not. I'm actually on a Forbes list.
Forbes? Ooh.
Forbes came out with a list.
Classy.
It's more than 10, but some of them are ranked like with the same percentage because it was a percentage of people that said like what their New Year's resolution was. So I'm going to go from bottom, like lowest, up to the highest.
Okay.
Like from 10 to 1, basically.
Do you have any resolutions for this year?
No, I never do that.
I don't either, and I didn't until I walked in this room, and now I think our resolution needs to be to do this show every week or every other week or whatever.
I would say bi-weekly is definitely manageable.
Okay.
Weekly is the goal. Bi-weekly is okay.
With our schedules now, weekly is difficult, but we'll do our best to make it work.
Yeah, guaranteed bi-weekly. That's what we have to do. If we get more than that, that's still a very big success.
We've made these hollow promises before.
No, never. I've never made a hollow promise.
Hollowed promises.
Hollowed promises. Yes. Also, sponsored by High Noon.
Yeah.
I like them. They're better than a seltzer. It's soda water. We just had this, David and I just had this conversation on New Year's. What the difference is. He said
it's vodka and flavored soda water.
Yes. But like when you get a White Claw or something like that, it's like a malt beverage, which is why you get the terrible hangover.
Nolan said that's only 3 seasons for Last Airbender.
I don't know.
I can manage that.
I don't know if I really want to watch that. I've heard it's very good. Like a lot of people like it. I just don't know if it's in my wheelhouse of things.
David said, we are writing a comic book. Hey, we wrote a comic book.
We've written them. They aren't published.
They just aren't published.
We've written them. That has happened.
We, the patrons, demand twice weekly. That I cannot
That
promise.
will not happen. Who said that?
Victor. The other bi-weekly.
Okay.
There's a weird bi-weekly thing. It can either mean every other week or twice a week.
Yeah. No, it's not going to be twice a week. I'll tell you that right now. Okay. So there's quite a few on this list, but I will go from the bottom, and the number one on the bottom is drink less alcohol.
Drink less. Well, we're not adopting these resolutions. We're just commenting on that. Yeah. I've never heard anybody make that resolution.
You haven't?
Nobody that I've talked to has like specifically said that's their resolution, to drink less alcohol.
Well, it's got quite a few votes for it. And
it's a good resolution. Listen.
It is.
It's a great resolution.
What if so hear me out. In order to do that, what if you drank more?
Okay.
To set yourself up to not drink later.
See, the key to that one is in the lead up in December, you got to drink extra hard so that it becomes super easy to manage that resolution.
Right. This is the way you're going to do it. You drink a bunch in the beginning of the week. And then by the end of the week, you don't want to drink anymore. See?
Yeah. Oh, so front load.
Yeah. You front load at the beginning of the week, and then maybe by the end of the year, you are drinking less.
Yeah.
It's just that you're doing it a lot more on, a few days.
Or just change what you're drinking. You try that.
Yeah.
Drink something stronger.
I was going to say, so instead of like drinking beer, high noon or anything, you're just down in Crown.
Yeah.
Or maybe like a nice bourbon or just straight vodka.
I mean, it's hard to pick apart that resolution because I think that's probably an admirable resolution for most people.
I mean, maybe. Depends on your opinion.
Yeah. Okay, go to the next one. I don't like that one.
Improve work-life balance.
Oh, okay. Okay.
What do you think?
I think that's...
How are you going to make somebody do that?
How would I recommend people improve their work-life balance? Boy, you should probably just quit your job.
I like that. I like that a lot. If you just get rid of the job altogether,
then you don't have to worry about it.
What's to worry about?
Most people that want to improve work-life balance is because they're working so much. They're workaholics.
Yeah.
So I feel like the natural solution is to go as extreme to the other direction as you possibly could.
And there's two ways of that. So you can either just quit straight up or still go to work, don't do anything.
Quiet quit.
Just don't do anything, and then you eventually get fired.
I mean, as an employer, I don't know. I don't know if I like that strategy.
I mean, do you like people just quitting?
No.
Okay.
But I would prefer them to quit.
No, that's what I would do. I'd go there, not do anything until you're fired. Your life is still good, because you've still made money during the time. You can do whatever you want at home. I mean, don't show up sometimes. That's an easy way.
I mean, Jerry hasn't been to work for like a month.
No, I mean, it's been like 17 days or something, 16 days.
But that's fair.
Since the 20th. I do it on purpose. It's for the kids, Chris. I'm improving my work-life balance.
See, you're doing it.
I'm just not going to work.
So, check. Done.
Got that one.
Did it.
Okay.
And I don't drink very much anymore, so I've succeeded in that one. So
very good.
I'm drinking wild cherry.
That's a perfect soda.
Zero Pepsi.
Pop. I don't know why I said soda. I hate that.
That should be your New Year's resolution. Never do that again.
I don't ever say soda. I don't know why I just said it. Because I absolute hate people. Hate them. Will not speak to them again if you say soda. It's pop.
What about the people that say Coke for all?
That's only in Georgia. I think it's like you're only can be in Georgia to do that.
Could be. All right, next one.
Okay, that was, how many have we done? 2? Make time for, no, that's about the same. That's the same as the work-life balance. Learn a new skill.
This is a good one.
Learn a new skill.
This is a good resolution everybody can do.
I mean,
Jerry I'm trying to get him
I was
to
going to
learn
bring
a new
this up.
skill.
Everywhere we go, he keeps telling me I need to learn how to play the drums because we're going to form a band too.
This is my dream. I want to be in a band. Mm-hmm. I can play the guitar. I can kind of sing enough.
You can sing.
But
Great
I need other people that can play instruments to join this band. And not like kazoos and shit. Although we could take a kazooist.
Well, if we're going to play polka, I think you got to have a kazoo.
But we can't fill this band without a drummer and a bass player.
But why do I mean, I have wanted to play the drums.
I think it's the easiest thing for you to learn.
So how do I go about doing that?
I have a drum set.
How do I learn?
You have an Oculus, and there's a drum set trainer on Oculus now.
So that's what everybody needs to do is buy an Oculus, the newest form, and then find a trainer on there to teach you a new skill.
No,
Not in real life.
It's like an app. It's not like a real person.
No, I understand that. I'm just saying like a training aid.
Yeah.
And so that's what you have to do. You have to buy a brand new Oculus.
Adam says he has his daughter's recorder.
I have a recorder too. I don't like them.
If you can figure out how to play like the intro to the Lord of the Rings song, then you could probably get a spot.
I just recently watched like I don't know if it was an orchestra or a symphony, but they legitimately had a recorder player in it. I did not know that was a thing. Like professional recorder players.
I didn't know.
It was good. It was really good.
So, new skills, other new skills that people can learn though.
whatever skill they want, I guess, like paper mache
Origami.
or origami.
Any of the paper-based
skills are going to get you somewhere.
Airplanes.
Hey, guess what? You quit your job, you've got a new job already.
Yeah.
You could be a professional origamist.
Nolan said he can sing. He was the lead in a musical.
How long ago, Nolan?
I don't care. He can try out for the band.
I was in a musical.
We're in no position.
No, I know. No,
but I feel like I need to be clear about what this band is going to be before people start jumping on
What?
board.
Can
This
I
is
know?
a Third Eye Blind cover band.
Okay.
We are only going to play Third Eye Blind songs.
Yeah, that's it.
That's it.
It's just like in Step Brothers, where the band at the
Catalina Wine Mixer?
yes is only 80s Billy Joel stuff.
Yeah.
That's the only what they play. So we're going to be the Third Eye Blind version of that. I'm into that. I'll do Third Eye Blind, but I got to learn how to play the drums. You have to teach me.
I'm not very good at drums, so I won't be a good teacher. I bought the drum set. It's an electric drum set. I bought it to become better at drums, but
Okay.
throw some Savage Garden in and I'll be there.
We will do that. Yeah. Chicka Cherry Cola.
Yeah.
What's that song?
Victor will know. Victor, what's the name of that song? Yeah.
Like a Chicky Cherry Cola.
That's all I know.
That's all I know too.
Okay, what's the next one?
The next one is make more time for loved ones.
Make more time for love.
Well, this says loved ones, but yeah, I guess you could say love too. I've got the perfect idea.
Okay.
Make more time for loved ones. Listen, we have so much capability with computers and phones and stuff. Don't go see them. You don't need to go. You don't need to actually make time. Stream it. FaceTime.
Or just text them.
Yeah, just text, stream, FaceTime. Like, they get to see you. You get to see them. You've got that barrier where you really don't have to be involved with anything. That's all you got to do.
And you can
Like,
just shut it off at any point.
Don't go to Christmas. Don't go to, like, Thanksgiving. You don't need to do it. Say, hey, Mom, prop up the iPad, and I'll be there. Like, you could just... TikTok has... We were just talking about TikTok Live. People are literally just, like, streaming themselves, walking around the house. Just do that all day.
Leave it on all the
Just
time.
leave it on.
I tried to FaceTime Victor the other day. He didn't pick up. I was trying to make more time.
And he literally said, thanks for the heads up about us streaming tonight.
Yeah. What are you going to do?
Be more available.
I think
Make more time for loved ones, Vic. Okay.
I think that's an all right goal. I mean, it's okay. That's kind of like the work-life balance thing.
It is.
It's just I don't
That's
know
up there. That's number 6.
I would say make more time for work and less time for balance, because the more money you have.
Well, that's kind of the opposite of what I was saying. Because I just said to quietly quit your job. So you want to overwork.
Yeah. Yeah. That would be my recommendation.
Overwork, forget your family.
All obligations.
I like that.
Next one.
Improve diet.
Improve diet. Now this is a big one. This is the number one. I have made this resolution before.
A lot of people have.
And it never works. Well, one time I lost a bunch of weight.
Well, that's different. Improving diet, and then there is another one that's lose weight.
Isn't that the same thing?
I don't think it is.
Yeah, I guess not all people are overweight. They maybe just need to eat a little healthier.
Right.
I would say this is an achievable goal with some ground rules. All right?
Mm-hmm.
If you only eat canned meats,
That's a good one.
you might fuck up the sodium portion of your diet,
Mm-hmm.
but you're not getting the carbs. Like a high spam diet,
It's good for you.
it's good for it. Could be good. Portion control, Adam says portion control is a big one. I would agree with that, and that's why the canned meats are great, because it's, you just eat one can and that's it.
I would say be very strict about all organic, no GMOs whatsoever. I don't want to hear that you've fed them any grain. If there's grain involved with this, you can't eat it. It's inedible. Will kill you. So don't eat grain at all. Become a vegan. Start yoga. I don't know if that's going to change your diet, but that's like getting fit.
Yeah, that'll be another.
Yeah, it's a
goal, I'm
different.
sure.
Yeah, that's on there. Let's see what else. it has to say grass-fed on everything, even if it's lettuce. If it ain't grass-fed lettuce, don't want it.
No.
Let's see, what else? Yogurt. Eat yogurt.
You know, speaking of this, me and Jerry had a discussion last night that I really want to buy one of those big things that you put the meat on and then you shave it off with a knife.
Yeah. I said shawarma, but that's like a specific style. And then you said in Mexico they do it too, but it's not called shawarma.
Right. I don't know what it's called.
It's called stand-up
Al
cooked meat.
Pastor, right? Isn't that what?
You could cook that on a griddle. Like they have El Pastor all
For
the time.
sure. I want one of those big ones to shave the meat off of.
I know.
So this is it. This is the New Year's resolution for improving your diet is everybody needs to go out and buy one of those large electric spinner things with the meat piled on, and it just goes all the time in your house.
Yep.
I don't know how long it would be good up there.
As long as it's organic.
But in Mexico, those things spin around for months, so they must.
Well, it's just like any old like diner restaurant that has the same pot with the same stock in it like all the time.
Yeah.
It's never empty. They just leave it in there 24/7.
David got in there. It's Al Pastor in Mexico.
Is it?
Shawarma is like Middle Eastern, right? But
It
it's
is.
all the same thing. Like
But it's the same shit.
Doner kebabs in like Europe or Greek, whatever, same thing.
It looks so good.
Euros.
Anytime I've seen a video of a guy slicing meat off of one of them things, and it's like in a cone shape.
No,
because
it's
they always
conical.
It is a conical meat, stand-up meat. It looks so good.
Yeah.
But all of it's like, if you cut a little too deep, it's all raw underneath.
Well,
like you really got to shave her thin.
Yeah, well, that's the whole point.
I mean, that's basically learning a new skill too.
No, and it's not called a spit.
Well, a spit is just a spear that goes through
Horizontally,
something.
though.
You can't stand that up and call it a spit?
I don't know. It's a good question.
I think you can.
Vic says doner kebabs are the best. And absolutely, when I was in Europe, in Germany, we had doner kebabs, I think, for every single meal.
I've never had one.
And I thought about it the other day because David's going to remember the name of the guy, the big guy on TikTok that was on.
Matty Matheson.
Matty Matheson. I watched his TikTok, and the other day he made
He yells at everything.
like a pressed meat loaf of like lamb and beef and some other things mixed in.
Really?
Pressed it really hard, and he shaved it cooked it, shaved it really thin, and he made like essentially doner kebabs.
Yeah.
He didn't call it that. He called it something
Doner?
else. Yeah, that's
Yeah.
what he called it. But it's the same thing. And I was sitting there thinking, this is all over Europe, like England, everywhere they have them. This is their fast food.
And he's Canadian, and a doner is really big in Canada.
Well, this is the fast food in a lot of the European countries, but it hasn't taken off in the United States. If we started a doner kebab chain.
What is it, though? Is it a sandwich?
Yeah.
Because you say kebab.
It's not a kebab like that. It's a sandwich. It's like a gyro, but it's got like lettuce and tomatoes and
they're good, huh?
Sauce in there and shaved meat. It's
Shaved meat.
It's kind of like a gyro, but it's not exactly the same. It's got more sandwich principles.
So the only way to improve your diet is shaved meat.
For sure.
Or canned meat.
Yeah.
Okay. I get it.
Vegan canned meat.
It better be.
Yeah.
They better eat grass. The next one is lose weight, which I think we've already... I've already got... Don't eat food.
Yeah.
Liquid diet.
Listen. Ozempic.
Done. Check it off.
You don't have to lose weight anymore.
Yeah. Ozempic does it for you. I don't know what it physically does to your body, but it's got to be good for you.
It's got to be.
It's 100% good for you if you're losing weight.
If you do Ozempic, then you can eat whatever you want, and you've killed two birds with one stone.
That's perfect.
Yeah.
I like Ozempic.
Solved. Next resolution.
Number one thing to do to lose weight, take a drug.
Yes. A drug that you can never get off of.
No, you can't.
That's not generic.
Because if you do, you die.
That's $600 a month.
It is?
I have no idea.
Oh. I'm sure Blue Cross will take care of it for me. I need it. I've got a little belly. I've gained some weight recently. I lost a bunch of weight. I was down pretty good. Gained like 10, 11 pounds back.
The holidays have not been kind to me.
Why?
I've gained like
You didn't get what you wanted for
10
Christmas?
pounds.
Doesn't matter, Chris. Ozempic. You're done.
All right, next one.
Improve mental health.
Okay. This is a very generic, unachievable goal. You have to have things that are measurable and achievable, and that doesn't have measurable. Like losing weight That makes sense. You're like, I lost 20 pounds this year.
Yeah.
Goal achieved. Improve mental health. I mean,
This is high on the list.
okay, for some of this, we've been kind of screwing around and talking about like giving bad advice.
Yeah.
But I will say this is a good one, and I think I know the key to this. The key to improving your mental health.
Okay.
And I'm not joking. This is for real. I've thought about this a lot. You just got to be like, you got to purge those negative thoughts. You always got to have the positive.
Now, that's a hard thing to do for most people.
But when you get negative thoughts, you just have to push them out.
But isn't that the battle? I mean, that's exactly the battle of.
But that's the daily thing you can do to achieve the long term.
Okay, so continuously put it in the forefront of your mind, like to get rid of negative
and save the
thoughts.
drama for your mama.
How do you feel about the old, not old, but the daily affirmations? Like people write them on their
like Stuart
mirrors.
Smiley, or what's his name?
Yeah, or Stuart Smalley.
Is it Smalley?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm good enough. I'm smart enough.
Doggone it.
People like me. How do you feel about that?
Daily affirmations. I don't know enough about it to sell. Like, you're talking about like a motivational calendar?
Well, like people will write them on a mirror, like in their bathroom, and they'll say these certain statements every day. Like every morning when they first wake up, or whenever you choose to do it in your day. Most people do it when they first wake up, and they say these few statements that make them feel better about themselves, like right off the bat.
That's a crock of shit.
I agree.
100%. That's the way I feel about that.
Okay, it's a big thing though. Like people are very into daily affirmations, and I don't want people to yell at me, but I do feel like it's more of a woman thing. Like women are very big into daily affirmations and saying them all the time. That's good for you. I don't personally think it helps me, but then again, I could go back and say the same thing for what you said about kick out those negative thoughts. Like I can say these statements and say, well, that's not helping me, and try to get rid of negative thoughts. I mean, to me, I find that almost impossible.
Yeah. I don't know. I think to counter, this is the problem because sometimes they counter. So if you want to improve your mental health, what you should probably do is drink more, which is going to be hard when you've made to drink less.
Well, that is hard to do.
No, I'm actually joking. Drinking more probably drastically
that will
reduces your mental health, but
you'll get that like hardcore anxiety that builds up like the next day. That doesn't necessarily work.
Improving mental health. Yeah, I don't know. You know what? One thing that I do think is a good idea sometimes, if you have a particularly high stressful job, I've been told that when you leave your job for the day, you should have something that you do, some routine that you do, like when you get to your car or something, or like whether it's a song you listen to or like some thing that you do to like release. It's like I don't know, it like tricks your brain into
believing it. Well,
that it's over. Like it's a mark end to that, and then a beginning to the rest of your night.
Okay, I see that, and I think that's what they believe about the, like the affirmations. Like it tricks your mind into believing, like, I am beautiful. I have a nice goatee.
Katie says, "Scream in the parking lot." That could work.
That I would agree with. The whole screaming thing.
I feel like it should be like maybe something more positive than screaming.
No, it's like release. You get this big release of that negative energy that you were talking about.
You know what would be a good thing people should do? Head on down to Grundy County Combat Club.
That too.
And punch some people.
I like that.
That's a good idea. Next one. Let's move it on because we got to do what we're watching.
Yes, sir. Improvement health, and then improve finances.
Aha. So this goes back to the work-life balance one.
Okay.
It's like, what are you going to do? You can only pick one of those.
You really can't only pick one. You can't have it all, folks.
Improve finances. I mean, you just got to work. You got to work more. Get a second job. Third job.
Start cleaning houses.
Drive an Uber.
Paint with a bucket. Get a bucket, drill some holes in it, dump paint in there.
Side gigs.
Yeah.
That's what you got to have.
I like that. Side gigs. Or hustles, as they call them in the biz.
Is that what they call it?
I think.
I don't know. I mean, I feel like it's a pretty vague. Listen, if you want a good resolution, it's got to be specific. A lot of these are very vague.
What do you want me to do about it? This is Forbes, man.
I'm just saying that's why people don't do them.
That's a good point.
Like, we're specific. We're saying we want to record at least bi-weekly throughout the rest of the year. That's a specific goal.
Yes. So improve finances. You could say, I'm going to save $100 every paycheck.
Oh, yeah, that's a good point.
Like, no matter what, every paycheck, however I got to do it, even $50 or 20, whatever you want to do, even if it's 5, whatever. Like, put that goal there that says, like, I'm going to take this amount of money and make sure it goes into a savings account or a dresser in the ground.
So here's what you do. Go to betterment.com, set yourself up a cash account. It pays 4.5 to 5.5% interest, and then auto debit out of your checking account like $50 every week into it.
Yeah. You'll be loaded.
Yeah. If you need a link, then you let us know. We'll provide you with a link.
Chris will send it to you. I also have it. Chris sent it to me. Yeah, that's what I'm going to do. I'm going to call it my Chris Fund.
Okay, next one.
It's the last one. This is number 1, and it's just like lose weight, but it's improve fitness.
Improve fitness. This is a good goal. This is one. If I had to make a goal for myself, this would be my goal this year.
To improve your fitness.
Like to do any fitness.
It's like to do literally
I do
anything.
Nothing. And it's bad.
Yeah, it gets bad. I don't do anything either. I do no fitness whatsoever.
I don't know what you do when you hate it. This is the problem. Like people that are into working out, they like it, and they're always talking about it.
How?
But when I do it, I hate it.
How do you get to that point where you like it?
First of all, I'm never going to a gym because I don't have time to be going to a gym.
No.
So anything I do, I got to do at home.
So you have to set up a home gym.
Which I have.
Everyone.
I got a Bowflex.
Everyone has to set up a home gym if you're going to improve your fitness. Otherwise, it's never going to
You
happen.
can do body weight exercises.
That sounds dumb.
gotta-
Meaningless.
The problem is the only fitness that works is like lifting
What if you're
weights.
too heavy to lift your weight?
That's the problem.
It's like, I'm even too heavy to even lift my own weight.
Yeah.
And then you don't want to do it.
What am I going to go do? One push-up?
You're doing it, man. Congratulations.
All right.
You're on it.
All right. I'm gonna pick. If I got to pick one of those goals for me, I'm gonna pick that goal.
Improve fitness.
You have to pick a goal too.
Off that specific list. Stop smoking. That was one that we didn't talk about.
You don't smoke. You've already achieved
January 2nd, and I've done my goal. No, I don't know. I don't want to say improve fitness because there is literally nothing in me right now that wants to do
I agree 100%.
any part of the fitness undertaking. I just don't understand how you like it. How do people like it?
I don't know.
I understand after you work out, feeling better or getting like that.
But to get to the point where you're doing the
That
workout,
sucks.
and then you're like, okay, I don't mind jogging on like a treadmill.
It's a soft jog.
Jogging.
Yeah.
But the thing is, then you read things, you follow fitness people on TikTok or whatever, and they're like, don't run, don't do
Right.
cardio.
That hurts your knees.
That's the worst fitness you can do. You need to lift weights. I'm like, I don't have any weights.
Yeah. I have no weights to lift besides my own body weight. And I don't even want to do that, especially at home. Like we just said, I said you have to have a home gym. That'll never happen. If I'm at home, I can pick 9,000 different things that I want to do more.
Like watch The Office.
Yeah. What? But then the argument will be like, you can watch The Office while you
I will
jog.
tell you, now you have an Oculus.
Yeah.
There's tons of awesome fitness stuff on the Oculus. Even the boxing game is a super workout.
I've done the boxing
But
game.
then you're sweating into that headset.
Yeah.
Constantly.
That's not good. That's gross.
It's embarrassing how much of a sweat you'll get in that boxing game where you're basically shadow boxing.
Oh, absolutely. The first time I ever did it was here when you first got it and you brought it to the Snarf Talk studio and I boxed after we recorded. And the next day I was sore.
Yeah, I know for sure.
My upper body and everything and my core was really sore. That's what you do. You get an Oculus again. So you got the Oculus for learning a new skill or whatever you want to learn. Because I guarantee you there's a training aid on there for multiple things besides drumming.
Oh, yeah. There's piano. There's all the musical instruments. There's fitness. There's all that crap.
Taekwondo.
Probably.
Brazilian Jiu-Jitsu.
Yeah. I will say you can get a good workout from Beat Saber too.
Beat Saber does. Even golf. I played golf and my arms were sore.
There you go. Man, we're nailing these. So that's gonna be mine. You're gonna learn a new skill, drums.
Oh yeah, that's what I got to do. Learn a new skill.
I'm gonna fitness.
Fitness donor kebab in my mouth.
I am doing a diet thing. It isn't a resolution, but
Okay.
I'm gonna go on a diet. I'm gonna try and go back on keto, kind of
I can't do that.
rough keto. So what I'm gonna do is like no fried foods.
I like that.
Like if you're out to eat, like get the salad instead of fries.
Yeah, or tomatoes. Cited tomatoes.
Tomatoes. Tomatoes are bad, man. That's you can't eat them. Tom Brady
Why?
doesn't eat tomatoes.
What's bad about
It's a
them?
nightshade. Poisons you. It's poisonous.
Come on.
Human beings are not supposed to consume tomatoes.
Everything is poisonous.
Most plants are bad for you.
That's what they say. I've heard the same thing.
Tom Brady don't eat them.
No plants. So is he strict like meat? Like a carnivore?
No, I mean I'm sure he eats some plants.
That is a big diet
The other thing
nowadays.
I found out recently, kale. You know how that was super popular?
Oh yeah, kills.
That is the worst thing you can eat. It is like a bottom feeder plant that like takes impurities and all the crap, and it's full of like heavy metals and bullshit.
Really?
You're not supposed to eat kale.
That's a big thing.
You're not
was for a
also
while.
not supposed to eat. How do you say this, Jerry? Cruciferous vegetables.
Oh yeah, cruciferous. Yeah, like broccoli and
Not supposed to eat them.
huh.
And anything in the nightshade family, like tomatoes and whatnot.
So what is a cruciferous?
I think like cauliflower, broccoli.
Cauliflower and broccoli are the only two I
Kale.
can think of.
Kale is one.
Okay. Brussels sprouts?
Not supposed to
No.
eat those.
Really? They're
They're
so
poisonous.
good. They're good. What is poisonous?
I don't know. I'm just telling you. This is what I heard. Broccoli, Brussels sprouts, and more. And leafy greens are also cruciferous vegetables. All right, so we're eating canned meat.
We're eating canned meat. You can get the low sodium stuff
Nolan
too, so
says
don't attack me
1765 is looking
for Chris.
What does that mean?
I have no idea. I use Get Healthy UTV website at home for workouts.
So we have Marley has Beachbody on her bike, and it has like it's like Peloton or whatever. It's got like all different kinds of workouts you can do. I don't want to do them. That's the problem.
I know.
You know what I've thought? This is what I've really thought. I keep thinking like one workout that I could get into is rowing, like the rowing machines.
You know who Nate has one of them.
But I don't want to buy another thing that's never going to get used. But I do
know.
feel like I would do the rowing machine.
For a week.
I know.
Maybe even 2. But we're saying it's a goal or what is it? Resolution.
Yeah.
I don't know. I got to learn a new skill. I have to.
All right. So that's what we're doing. Let us know what your guys' resolutions are. Nolan said, before we get into what you're watching, how much are you looking forward to Dune 2?
I can't even put it into words.
I am very much looking forward to that. It's such a shame that it got moved from this last fall to the spring.
It was a whole year to like next November, but then they bumped it back up to March, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, that sucks that they pushed it back because we could have already seen it and already been talking about it.
I'm super psyched. I got to go back and rewatch the first one, which you just did.
I was just going to say, I just watched
So are we into what we're watching?
Yeah,
Okay.
we are. I just watched the new Dune, or the first Dune movie again, and it is incredible how fast a 2.5-hour movie, a 2-hour and 35-minute movie goes by. It blew me away the night that we watched it in theaters, and I don't think I've sat and watched the whole movie through since then, except for the other day. And again, I'm watching this, and all of a sudden, it's over, and it's been 2.5 hours. I was like, my God, this is so good because I was just so into the movie. And again,
I enjoyed in the first movie how there wasn't like a large, I wouldn't say story arc to it. It was just a lot of world building.
Yes.
So it felt like it just drops you into a place in time.
Yes.
And then it just kind of ends.
And you move through that. You move through what they're doing in that specific time. Yes. And then it's just like they get to this place and it ends. And it sucks like that it just ends there because you want so much more. Like I want to see everything that's going to happen going forward.
Luckily,
because I know what it
read the
is.
book,
Yeah,
so.
and I think that's why I know what it is, and I want to see that happen on the big screen again. And I know Villeneuve is going to do a good job because he's already done a great job with the
I will
first one.
say, based on the trailer alone, I liked the first one, but like I said, it doesn't give you a lot of meat. It's beautiful. I loved watching it. It's an experience for sure, but it doesn't give you a lot of the meat of the story. So I'm very much looking forward to this trailer. It looks like that's really going to push everything forward, the whole narrative.
Well, Dirk Steele said 16 minutes ago, meat is the key.
There you go.
He knew.
Give me the meat.
It's all about the meat, canned or otherwise.
I will talk about something that I watched. Well, let's talk about one that we both watched. I know because we both watched Chappelle's new special.
Yes, just last night.
Yeah, last night. Me too. Again, huge Chappelle fan. I think probably
big time,
undisputed. He's probably top 10 all-time comedians.
Yeah.
Of the last 10 years, he's probably top 3.
I would say so.
His last 2 or 3 specials that have been on Netflix have been, I thought, phenomenal.
Yeah.
But a lot of them were borderline comedy, sometimes story, based.
He's gotten more story based. Like big time stories.
This one out the gate, I thought started really strong. I texted Jerry and I'm like, the first joke was amazing,
yes.
solid.
And what did I text back?
Just wait. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I feel like it just was disappointing overall. I just didn't have a lot of narrative to it, and a lot of the jokes weren't really jokes per se. They were more just the way he sets things up,
right,
and punches them down, which is great. Like, it's solid. It's still entertaining. Don't get me wrong. And it's short.
Mm-hmm. It was very short.
But I did like the whole ending, the story he did at the end.
Yes.
That worked really well. So it started really strong. It ended pretty strong. In the middle, it just kind of gets lost. That's how I felt.
The middle is completely lost. I did not enjoy the middle until he said he was done, walked off stage, took his jacket off, and he came back out with just like a black shirt on and started smoking a cigarette. It got better there. But that's like the last 12 minutes of the episode of the show. So you didn't have much to go off of there. Like, that's all it was. The whole middle there for 30 minutes was boring to me.
So I would say, like, if you're a casual Dave Chappelle fan,
I think he came out way too strong because it was like 2 jokes right in a row in the beginning that just were hilarious. I was laughing my ass off in the beginning of this, and then he just dives into
just kind of
nothing. It just didn't play out into anything. So not his best special by any means. Now, I would say watch the first 10 minutes of it because it's absolutely hilarious.
If you're a Chappelle fan, obviously you're going to watch it anyway, so we don't need to say anything. If you're a casual fan, it's definitely skippable.
Yeah. Agreed.
That one's off the list. You got anything else? I got 4 more things.
Yeah, I've got one that I was just telling you. I finished. No, I have 1 episode left, so I haven't finished it yet. But this won't be for everybody. It's called Blue Eye Samurai. It's on Netflix. It's an anime type show that Netflix did on their own. The art is absolutely beautiful. It's based off of, it's like in the 1600s. It's a girl. It's basically Mulan, but an adult version of Mulan. And it's a girl. She's like they consider like a dog that you didn't want, like a stray animal that you don't want, because she's like a half-blood. So a white person, and then her mom was Japanese, and she's got blue eyes. So they knew right away, like, she's like a half-blood person, not full Japanese. So normally they would just get rid of him. But she's hidden as a boy her entire life, and she becomes a samurai like throughout her young life, and then she gets older, she becomes a samurai, and now she has this like vendetta to go back and try to kill the white men that were in the country in Japan. It's a cool story, and I really like it. I don't think it's for everybody. It's way more like rated R than I would have ever believed in anime. So that was very shocking to begin with. I won't say it wasn't bad. It just shocked me that that's how this story was going, because I didn't expect it. But overall, it's got really good action, and it's fun to watch. I don't know where I'd rank it on my shows, but I think it was a fun show to watch that was different. It was just like different than anything I've seen in the last 5 years.
Yeah,
really even.
you had me interested in it, so I definitely want to watch it.
So Blue-Eyed Samurai on Netflix. It's interesting.
Next one I got is one because we haven't talked in a year on air or personally at all. We haven't spoken,
Never.
Other than this week. And I felt like it was kind of a very mediocre year for content in general.
Yeah, I would say so.
But I went back and I finally finished last week the rest of Loki.
I haven't finished that. I've only seen the first 2 episodes.
So I watched like the first 2 or 3 before I got in this weird office kick.
Yeah.
And I was loving it. And then I got caught up because it was a week by week thing. And I didn't catch like the last 3 or 4 episodes. So I finally went back and binged them. Just a freaking masterpiece, I feel like. Just a really solid offering from Marvel that's giving you something different. I love where it's driving the MCU. If the MCU is still even a thing, I have no idea.
I think it is,
After
but
the
it's
disasters they've had this year.
Yeah.
But if the MCU is still a thing, this is a great direction for it. But now the main villain is done. He's not in Marvel anymore.
Gone.
He's going
Kicked
to jail
out.
or something.
Yeah, I think so.
He was good. He was great, but he's replaceable because of the idea of the storyline itself, that it's a multiverse. I mean,
Right.
Obviously they can replace him with about anybody. I just think it's probably cementing its place as one of the best, if not the best Marvel show.
Really?
I think it's up there. I mean, if I'm thinking of my top shows, I'm thinking of things like Falcon and the Winter Soldier, Moon Knight. I really liked. I'm sure there's ones I'm forgetting about, but I'm forgetting about them. So
Right.
But Loki, I'm not forgetting about because it's very interesting what they did with that show.
I have to get myself to watch it. For some reason, I don't know why, I haven't had that like passion to watch Loki. Like,
I didn't either, and that's why I put it down for so long. But when I finished it, I'm like, you know what? This is a really solid relic.
And I loved the first season. I thought it was great. There's no reason why I shouldn't go back and watch it.
And I think season 2 is immensely better than the first season.
Then I'll probably, as soon as I leave here, I'll at least watch one episode.
And I think Tom Hiddleston is amazing.
Incredible.
Yeah. He's just perfect in that. I love the evolution of that character in general.
Yeah.
Like, it's completely different. I mean, this is the truest sense of the word of seeing like a massive evolution of a character, and the way they handle it is perfect.
Yeah.
I think it's great.
So this was a while ago now, but how did you feel about The Witcher season 3? That is one that I've watched in this past year. I don't know. Do you remember much?
Unfortunately, I'm struggling now. I'm sure if you give me some highlights, I can probably remember in general everything to it. It's not sticking out to me. I remember enjoying it quite a bit.
Yes. And
but it's not burning into my memory like the other seasons.
that's what I was going to say, is that it didn't play out for me.
I remember there being several episodes that really disappointed me, and like not moving the story forward the correct path.
It frustrated me.
Was frustrating at times, but I mean, overall, still obviously one of the best shows of all time.
Yes.
I don't know where it's going to go from here.
Well,
I was really
basically
disappointed by the
done.
idea. I had the idea in my head was that it was going to, when they rebooted it, they were going to go back in the past, and it would be like a younger version of, Geralt, and it's not.
That's not what they're
gonna
doing.
be. They're going to continue on the story, which partially I'm like, okay, that's good, I guess, because I do like that storyline, but at the same time, I don't know. I'd have to rewatch it again to be honest.
You argued with me and said that it was still going to be good if they continued on with the same storyline.
I think it could be. It could be. Depends on
I
how
don't
they
know.
do it. Yeah.
I guess there's the possibility of anything, but I don't know. I don't know how it's going to be, but it is one of the greatest shows, The Witcher. If you have never watched it, I would say go watch it immediately.
Anybody. I know people that
regardless,
aren't into fantasy, any of that, and they love that show.
Regardless of what I say or what we've said about...
everybody loves that show.
Yeah. But like I said, regardless of what we said about season 3 right now, you have to see it. It's incredible. It's like a spectacle.
I kind of feel like that way about the next show I'm going to say is a show that everybody would love, and that's Reacher.
Yeah, that was one I was going to bring up too.
Reacher season 2?
Yeah, it's not done yet.
No, it's not done. I think it comes out on Thursdays. And this is one when it popped up a few weeks ago that it was back. Marley was excited. She's like, "Oh, you really enjoyed the first season."
I texted you the day that it came out,
and I was just
the day after.
I went to watch it, and she wanted to watch it, and I'm just like, I don't know. I just don't. I'm not feeling it. It had been too long since the first season.
It was. That is a downfall.
And the first episode I thought was not great. It was very slow. But then right after that, I started getting deep into it, and it's just a great show. Because
they get deeper into the storyline of this season, and that's when it starts to pick up. Like the first episode, like you said, is just it's a setup episode for the entire season. It just didn't land very well. But once they get the group together and they start going through the story, it's pretty good.
Yeah,
I like it.
And I like the whole cast. It's just a fun. I'm a really big fan of Jack Ryan, that show, and I still think I like Jack Ryan more. I think it's just a better done show.
Yeah.
But Reacher's a badass.
I would say the reason I like Jack Ryan better is because I think the acting in Jack Ryan is better.
For sure. And
like
there's more strategy.
Yeah.
There's more plot.
There is.
Reacher's very much at times like a mystery, but a lot of times just kind of like a beat 'em up action.
It is. But like I said, I really, there are times in Reacher that I'm like, ugh, I don't like the way they act sometimes. Like even Reacher himself, like sometimes I'm like, man, it just seems too.
He's not the best actor.
No, he's not. I'm not. That doesn't take away from the show for me personally.
No, I agree.
But it's just me nitpicking between those two shows, and I would say Jack Ryan has done better than what Reacher is. But Reacher is a fun time to watch.
For sure. Next one. You got one, or I got two more?
I'm sure I do. I didn't write anything down.
Okay. Well, I know one that you've watched that I've watched that's going to be a topic of conversation, and that is Rebel Moon on Netflix.
Rebel Moon, the new Zack Snyder movie that came out on Netflix.
Part one of, ostensibly, I would say 3.
I thought it was just 2.
I don't know, but interesting to think about this that I heard, don't know if it's true, but this was Zack Snyder's Star Wars script that he wrote for Disney.
Yeah.
Didn't get picked. I don't know if this was to be what the new trilogy was going to be, or this was just another series that he was developing. Because remember, there was a time when they had like 4 or 5 trilogies in development.
Yes.
After Force Awakens had come out.
Yep.
So I'm guessing this was not to replace Force Awakens and stuff. It was going to be his own trilogy of movies, because they gave Rian Johnson was supposed to have a trilogy. Somebody else.
All of that was
Kevin
set up.
Feige was supposed to have a trilogy.
Yes.
Zack Snyder, I've never been the biggest fan of Zack Snyder. I like some stuff. I mean, I liked Batman versus Superman. I liked the Justice League Snyder cut. I liked some of the stuff he did. Rebel Moon was interesting though. I at first very much disliked it because it looks very chintzy cheap. The acting is really poor.
That's what hit me right off the bat. Is the very beginning of this movie is cheap looking. I mean, I told you before, it looks like they're on a stage. It looks like they're standing on a stage with props around them and like a canvas backdrop.
Yeah.
Some of the time when they're on the farm and stuff right in the beginning. I did not like that.
You definitely get Star Wars vibes.
You do.
It feels very similar to Rogue One at times.
Yes. But it just caught me because I was like, this is on Netflix. Zack Snyder did it. They had to have dumped so much money into this production. It should not look like that.
I would agree. Yeah.
And they absolutely could have gotten. I don't mean to tear them down, but they could have gotten better actors.
Now, I will say where we differ on this is, at some point, I actually started to enjoy it. I was able to get past the campiness of it. So towards the end, I actually did like the second half of the movie, and by the end, I was almost like upset that it ended because I wanted to see more.
See more, yeah.
So I'm excited about the next one, but this movie had no real plot. I mean, it has a plot, but it's very loose. And it doesn't give any of the characters significant backstory.
No, it's
except
put
for
together
the
weird.
main character, I guess she gets some, but there's a lot of jumping around, like going to recruit these heroes, but you don't really get any backstory on them. You have no emotional connection to any character in
None.
in the show. there's definitely some interesting and cool scenes for sure.
Yeah, I would agree.
Overall, for your general viewing audience, it's probably a miss. Like, don't need to watch it.
Yeah, you could skip it. I agree with you.
I don't know how TV shows can do better at their, like, the Star Trek shows.
Yeah,
are infinitely better looking.
I know.
Than this. And how is that possible on a?
It shouldn't be.
I'm assuming $150 million Netflix budget or something.
Be.
You know, this had to be a huge budget.
I don't know, but what I will agree with you is, towards the end, it picks up to where I did enjoy it more. Definitely towards the end, and I'm going to watch the second one. I have to now that I've put this time.
Oh, for sure. Yeah.
Put this time and effort into
watching. And I think the second one could be better. I like
it. Should be.
I like that they were trying to do a world building thing.
Yeah.
They like move too fast. I don't understand.
Which is crazy how it moves too fast in like a 2.5 hour movie.
Well, and this is what I'm getting at. Somehow they were able to do it in those original Star Wars movies, which were like 90-minute movies.
I know.
And they built these worlds in a way that were natural. And like, I guess it's because they just kind of put you in there.
Yeah.
They didn't have to try to explain everything. But this, it's like, how can they not be able to achieve the simplicity of what they achieved in...
I think it's too much. They're just trying to do too much.
But that was only 3 movies. You know, those first 3 Star Wars movies. They're 3 90-minute movies or however long they are.
They're not much longer than that.
And they're able to build this whole world that persists for decades.
Mm-hmm.
And in this 2.5 hour big budget Netflix thing, they're just not able to connect all those dots.
I just don't think they're structured as well.
Yeah.
Like Star Wars movies were structured very well, where it was like intro, certain things happen, end.
Yeah.
Like
it was
the main structure.
The hero's journey.
Yeah. Is done perfectly. This is just trying to fit too much into all of that, which takes away from every character. They're going so many places and doing so many things, and then they introduce so many characters.
And it happens in all of his DCU movies, too. It's very similar to like Justice League and things they try and do where they're trying to just pound too much stuff in there.
Yeah. Yeah. And there's too many people to try to track and follow, and you're never going to learn about any of them.
Yeah.
Because they've got so much to cover.
There's a great twist, though, towards the end, and that kind of redeems a lot of the movie for me.
Yeah. No, I agree. And like I said, I will definitely go back, or I will go and watch the second movie when it comes out in April. I believe it's dropping in April.
Oh, is it that soon?
Mm-hmm.
Well, that's good. At least they're not making you wait 2 years.
Oh, I know. No, that's what gets me really excited is that we will get to watch it again soon, which I think everyone should do. But, I mean, Hollywood's Hollywood. I don't know how they do any of that crap.
Who knows? What else? I got one more.
I don't really think I have anything. I mean, I've watched a lot of stuff. Survivor. I've definitely watched Survivor, and it is still wonderful.
I've watched like Kitchen Nightmares was out.
Yes, Kitchen Nightmares, Hell's Kitchen, which is still going on. They've kind of taken a hiatus because of the holidays. So this recent season of Hell's Kitchen hasn't finished yet. The finale, they should be starting this week, I would assume.
I tried. I watched the first few episodes. I couldn't get into it. I'm going to try again, but
I love Hell's
Kitchen Nightmares and MasterChef, but Hell's Kitchen's it's hit or miss for me.
I love it. I love Hell's Kitchen and MasterChef for sure. MasterChef should be coming on soon, like in the spring.
I think it was just finished in the summer, right?
MasterChef?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it finishes in the summer, but it starts early.
American
it starts
Idol
in spring.
Should be coming back out.
That's what should be starting soon.
In February, probably.
I forgot about that. That's got me excited.
Yeah,
that's the greatest show.
I love it, but the whole audition part, I don't care for.
I watch it.
Last one I'll say, I went to the movie theater.
Oh,
that's
yeah.
a thing that still exists. That
it does.
Go to.
I went today.
What'd you go to?
Migration.
Oh, really? How was that?
It's good. It's a good little flick. The boys loved it. Ran into Fields.
Oh, nice.
So we all watched the movie together.
That's funny because we ran into them when we went to the movie last week.
That's strange.
Not there at Texas Roadhouse, but still.
Oh, Roadhouse. Yeah, Migration is good. It's a quick little movie. It's fine. Kumail Nanjiani is the main voice. Oh, Awkwafina. You know this actress? She is in every single animated movie that is ever existed in the last 4 years.
For sure, yeah.
And she's in this movie, and 2 of the previews that they showed, she's in those. how is this possible that this lady is getting cast for every single voice part of a weird character?
She's got
like a weird,
interesting voice.
Is that what it is, you think?
I don't know. I think I like her.
I have no problem with her. I just find it
You don't
incredible.
like her, Jerry.
No, I find it incredible that she is the only one that is in all of these movies. Like, every cast has changed, but Awkwafina is in every animated movie. It's insane.
Well, Migration, yeah, we were going to go see that, but I feel like I could wait for that to come out.
You definitely can. You don't need to see it at all.
No.
I think Jet and the kids will like it. But
Well, we brought the kids and we went to see Wonka.
that was my vote today on what I wanted to see. I got outvoted 3-1.
Yeah, I mean, it was a very enjoyable movie. I will say, I guess I had heard, because in the previews they didn't let on at all that it was a musical.
It's a musical.
Well, they didn't let that on in the previews. I wouldn't have known that if I hadn't seen some TikTok video reviews where people were saying, why don't they advertise that as a musical? Because there's a lot more people that would go
I knew
see
it was a musical. I felt like it did get advertised that way.
I love musicals.
Love them.
Marley really liked it. The kids liked it. I liked it for sure.
Yeah.
I wasn't like huge into it. It was fine. It was a good little watch. Good movie. The music, I feel like, other than a couple of the songs, like it was all original songs except for they do the main Willy Wonka song. Like,
Yeah.
If you want to see
Yeah.
paradise.
That's very good.
That part was really good. It's a good story. It's a good movie. It definitely is a good movie. I feel like a lot of the songs weren't that catchy, or they were very slow,
Yeah.
which I thought was odd.
That is odd.
But overall, it's like an origin story to Willy Wonka.
Yeah, because it's before he started the chocolate factory, right? Or like the buildup of him.
Yeah,
starting it?
it's like before he started it. Like he's getting off a boat with nothing and making his way.
And then it probably ends with him starting the chocolate factory.
Well, I'm not going to give it away. But that would
What's
seem
the-
like
there's
the
not-
natural
I
progression.
would say that that's what's happening. Yeah.
So overall, I liked it. I think I would like it if I watched it again. I'd probably like it more.
How is Timothy Chalamet?
Phenomenal.
Really?
He makes it, man. He nails that role.
No kidding?
So there's certain
That's the one I was worried about.
there's
the most,
certain
honestly.
things about it that I really liked, and he was really good in that
Okay.
movie.
Well, now you really sold me. I want to see it, but I was worried about him in that role just because I didn't know if he could be.
He was really good. There was a lot of really good side characters. There's these two characters that have a real Matilda vibe, like because it's
Okay.
a Roald Dahl. Obviously this is an original screenplay, but
Right.
they have a the whole thing has a very Matilda-y vibe. I felt like. I thought it was great. I mean, it's definitely worth seeing. I don't know if you need to go see it in the theaters, but
I probably won't.
no.
It's been out long enough now. I probably won't have time to even catch it. So that's one of the ones I'll catch on Prime.
And to be honest, like I've never been like the biggest Willy Wonka, Charlie and Chocolate Factory fan. I would like to go back and watch the Johnny Depp one.
Yeah, I feel like I've seen that one more than any of them.
Well, that one I believe was more faithful to the source material. Roald Dahl famously hated the 1970s one with Gene Wilder.
Really?
Yeah,
I did not know
guess
that.
it wasn't faithful to the book. I've never read. I don't know if I've ever read the book.
No, I never.
I'm
have.
sure I read it when I was a kid. I don't know. I think it's something.
Why?
I think it's something you read in school.
I didn't.
I remember reading Charlie and the Glass Elevator, so I feel like I wouldn't have read that if I hadn't have read the first one.
Probably not. Yeah,
I also find it odd that they never made that into a movie.
I didn't even know there was a book.
Yeah, that's the sequel. Like at the end of Charlie and Chocolate Factory,
Yeah,
he goes up in the glass elevator.
I know that.
Okay, well, there's a whole nother book, and that elevator goes like outer space to like a space station, and there's aliens.
What?
Probably why they didn't make it. But
For real?
But Netflix has the rights to all the Roald Dahl books.
Wow.
So because they made they came out with a Matilda musical.
Yeah,
recently.
I watched that.
So they're making.
That was interesting.
Charlie in the Glass Elevator. They're making a new remake of the BFG, and a couple other books. I think they're doing James and the Giant Peach
Okay.
again. So anyway, Wonka, definitely a good feel-good family movie. It was definitely a good one to go to at the holidays with the family.
Okay. I'll have to watch it. I'll watch it at home now.
We got out of that, and I was telling somebody about it that I I liked it, but it wasn't like phenomenal. And they're like, well, yeah, you probably don't like musicals. I'm like, I freaking love musicals. Like The Greatest Showman, I recently rewatched. It is one of the best movies.
I
of
was
all time.
just thinking about watching that the other day. Well, when I watched Dune that day, I was like, maybe I should watch The Greatest Showman again. And I was like, I don't know. I don't know if I want to watch that. And then Dune came up, and I was like, oh, I'll watch this.
Yeah.
But I was literally just thinking about watching it because I do. I love music.
So good.
I really love Sweeney Todd, the Johnny Depp Sweeney Todd.
I don't know
movie.
that I've ever seen it.
Man, it's so good.
I don't think I've ever seen it all the way through. I've seen bits and pieces. But
yeah, it's one of my favorites. I like it a lot. It's not for everybody, but that's just the story. You know, the demon barber on Fleet Street.
You know what movie I've been having a hankering lately, and I don't know why, to rewatch? Gangs of New York.
That's a hell of a sit. I mean, it's a great movie.
Yeah.
I mean, but it's a lot.
It jumped in my mind the other day, and I'm like, man, I really want to rewatch that movie.
It's so good. Or There Will Be Blood.
Oh, yeah.
God, it's so good.
Did you watch the new Scorsese movie?
I have not.
What is it called? Children of
The
Flower Moon?
It's like 3.5 hours.
Yeah, and I've heard very mixed reviews.
I haven't heard good reviews. Because I've heard most of it being, not that the material's bad, or like the script is bad, but that it's 3 hours and like 40 minutes long, and it really could be a 2-hour movie. It's like there's so much of it that just plays out that doesn't need to be there.
Need a director's cut. Speaking of that, Rebel Moon supposedly getting a Snyder cut. You told me that.
Well, I didn't say that they had I didn't say they were coming out with a Snyder cut, but he said specifically before it was ever released, I have a cut of the movie that they did not use. And I think my movie is put together way better than what was released.
Why are they doing this to?
I don't know.
Is it to all filmmakers or just him all the time? Because
I don't know.
The Snyder cut of Justice League it wasn't like 2x better. It was like 10 times better.
Yes.
And why didn't don't they just let these people make the movies they want to make?
Exactly. I don't know. I have no idea why, but and so that was why I was originally really excited to watch this movie. And then I saw that Zack Snyder released that statement saying, I've got a director's cut of this movie that I wanted made. They didn't do this. They put together something different than what I imagined. And then I started thinking like, oh no, is this going to suck? Like, I feel like this is going to suck now. And it got me really nervous. Then I started watching it. I don't think you can really you're not going to change the scenery. I guarantee you, like, how it was filmed and stuff is going to be the same. So that is what it is.
You could make it darker with more slow motion.
Probably have more explosions and black.
Well, real quickly, because I think we're coming up to our time here. Where are we at?
2 hours and 2 minutes.
All right. Anything you're looking forward to a lot other than Dune?
Other than Dune?
I'm kind of looking forward to this new Echo show that's in the Daredevil universe.
Echo's coming out. I forgot about that. That looks good.
I never saw anything about it until just recently, and I saw Kingpin was in it. I don't know if Daredevil's in it or not.
That's the only thing I saw was a trailer with Kingpin in it. Yeah, that looks good. But other than that, nothing is popping up in my mind that I'm really excited about.
What about Madam Web?
Never even heard of it.
Oh, you haven't seen the trailer for that?
I don't think so.
There's a new Madam Web. It's in the Spider-Man universe. It's coming out this year.
Really?
Mm-hmm.
No, I haven't.
Looks interesting.
I did watch that new Spider-Man movie.
Oh.
I texted you about it.
Yeah.
And you never responded.
I forgot. Yeah, isn't it good?
It's incredible. I think the way that one even looks
that's the best movie of the year for
is
me.
way better than the first one.
For sure. Yeah.
It's such a good movie. In the beginning, I liked it, but I was like, this is just as good as the last one. But as it progressed, holy crap. It's a phenomenal movie. Yeah, it's absolutely
those
fantastic.
Guys are nailing it.
Yeah, I would agree. That's probably my favorite movie I've seen recently, like within the last 6 or 8 months.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, it's very good.
What Marvel movies even came out this year? I mean, I didn't watch the Marvels.
I didn't watch the Marvels either.
I didn't. Aquaman's out now. I probably won't see
That's
that.
not a Marvel movie.
Well, I know, but I just mean superhero movies in general. Was it this
That's
year that
it.
Doctor Strange came out?
No.
It was last year?
Yeah.
There's got to be other stuff.
There's not much.
Secret Invasion, I never watched.
I didn't watch it either.
Man, we're just really...
There's nothing that's came out with, especially the MCU recently, that's been very good.
Deadpool, we get Deadpool 3 this year.
Yeah, that's shaky right now, though, too.
I'm excited about it.
I'm very excited about it, but I think it's shaky with Disney getting their hands involved with it where they shouldn't be.
It'll work out, I'm sure.
I hope so.
All right, you want to wrap it up?
Yeah, that's it for our very first episode of 2024.
New season.
And of the last year.
Yeah.
It's big. This is a big deal.
We actually didn't record a single episode in 2023.
No.
We just left that year. We're going to forget that year existed.
Done.
It wasn't a particularly
done and done.
great year for
No. That is done. I agree.
for either one of us.
Yep.
So we're moving on from it.
Yes, 2024 completely different. I'm going to learn a skill. You're going to get fit, and we're going to record at least once every other week, if not every week.
I'm into it.
But you're going to get regular episodes of Snarf Talk again. 100 cc's on tap.
We will
Stat.
cross 200 this year.
Oh, yeah. That'll be easy.
Well, it wouldn't be easy.
Well, I guess it
we
won't
gotta
be
have
that
like
easy.
40 something,
Yeah.
35, right?
Right. 52 weeks in a year. So if we
30
only do,
35 more podcasts.
if we only did every other week, we wouldn't get it.
That's right.
So we do have to have some.
It's an admirable goal if we can close out next year,
At
2024, with our 200 extravaganza.
Yeah, that'd be awesome.
I mean,
with a cake. We could have a cake.
It's fucking cake.
Yeah. All right. That's all we got this time.
All right. Well, I will say it right now for Snarf Talk this week. I've been Chris.
I am Jerry.
See ya.
Bye.